Hello, monk. How are you today? I'm doing okay. I'm just chilling out. Yeah, just chilling. I think we're going to be talking about balancing the spiritual energy between everybody. Yeah, just been chilling and meditating and bouncing lives today, really. Just to see what's out there. See if I get any more inspiration or something. I know there's a lot of people on, but if they come, they will come. A lot of times we don't balance our energy and it causes us problems inside of our body. Sometimes it causes physical harm to ourselves. We don't realize it. But when we start to think about what creation was, yeah, a lot of meditating. But when we talk about creation, there's many versions of creation and how things happened. But I've often looked at it from a different point of view, I guess. And a lot of people, sometimes that they think that I'm crazy what I say, but there's also, I mix it up with facts. I just don't have it written down at this point, but I see things through a different lens of how things are, and I might bring that up in a conversation sooner or later. Because it's one of my messages that I want to put out. It's a message I've been wanting to put out for a long time, and I'm not sure on how I should bring that message out to people. And I don't want to feel like I'm preaching on it because, some people don't want to just hear preaching. But I've going into myself and not reading too much information only on what I've gotten from the universe. I could just plainly say that it could be from my timeline that I'm from, because my timeline, things happened a lot differently than what I'm hearing from other people, which to me seems logical to me that, and I try to follow this timeline that I had came from, and the premonitions and the events and the beings that I've talked to. It's almost similar, like a parallel universe kind of thing, where I've expressed and learned a lot of things. But I think my timeline now has now crashed into this one for years now, and I think it also changed a lot when I had that car accident, that it changed too. And I think that's part of what happened to me. That from the beginning of this universe, well, I don't know about the beginning of this universe. I mean, I wasn't really here, and I've had other beings in here. So how do I even start this out? Well, from what I've gathered from the beings out there that I've talked to and got their thoughts and energy from, they've often told me that there was this galaxy, there was this, supreme being in the universe, this energy, this being that was out in the universe. And Brim, my energy being, Brim, the spiritual being right here, he came from a universe where it had collapsed. He was the creator of that universe, and that universe crashed because even though he was a creator, he didn't realize that when we create things, we have to take everything into account. He never took into the account of emotions. He didn't understand what emotion was. And it collapsed, He had his good, the bad, and there were spiritual beings and energy. Brim chose to take the form of the golden dragon because that's what he felt in his universe. He still feels it to this one. When he left that universe, it had collapsed. He came to this one, right when this one created, and he made his own little area because him and the creator, I'm not sure how that part worked, but he made a deal with the creator that he wouldn't do anything without going. He didn't want to go in his property and build a house. He made an agreement. So he came over here to this universe. He created 7 planets when he created the big bubble that we're in, this huge bubble. Not Earth, this universe is a bubble, really. And with each bubble, each pocket universe has a galaxy and has planets, has stars, has everything that we see around us is inside of this bubble. When he created it, Brim came into it because when he came from interstellar space into this universe looking for a home, and it gave him a home here. So when he was here, he created his little solar system, if you want to call it. He created his own little solar system with his own beings. And they've been working with the people in this universe for millions and billions of years. So people might want to call them aliens. Yeah, they're interdimensional, really. That's what he is. He's an interdimensional being that chose the form of a golden dragon. And that's why, as I grew up, I never felt that I was part of this universe, because I didn't understand a lot of things at that point in time. So, and I really haven't talked about, the whole story with Brim and what he was doing. And when he came to this universe to build his planets, he took a part of himself and he made a woman. Her name was Shakora. And they were dragons, and they had made it, and, they were in love, kind of like an Adam and Eve, but as a higher dimensional beings. So when it came in and they created the 7 planets, they picked and choosed on what kind of beings were going to be on that planet. Well, while this was going on, he witnessed the creation of this universe. The God in this universe was creating the stars and the planets and all of this. Well, several millions of years later, there was this evil that came into affect Brim's area, his planets and solar system. So when that happened, in order for him to get rid of that being, he sacrificed himself into what do we want to call it? He calls it a galactic ribbon, a nexus, a ribbon, kind of like Star Trek. And he brought himself and he grabbed that being that was so dark. He said he didn't want this in the universe, so he went in this thing with him. And so they were there for millions of years. Well, as he was coming through, that ribbon was traveling through this bubble, this universe, this sphere that we're in. He traveled past Earth, and at this time, as he was coming here, he could witness the birth of Earth. And what he has said to me, that there was a planet called Nibiru that was coming towards Earth. And on this planet, they had multiple planets around it. And he called it Terra. It was called Terra. And when Terra had humans on it, because humans at that time were the most powerful beings in all of the universes, but they got destroyed because they became too powerful and they became too wild and out there. So a lot of the beings that were bad destroyed them. So the last remnants of the human race was stuck on, well, in this universe, was on this planet called Terra. So when Terra was about to hit Tiamat, which was the third planet, it hit Tiamat. And on Tiamat at that time, we had reptilians, jinns, and multiple dark entities were here. And Terra had smashed Tiamat. But the people were taking off Terra so they could survive. And then that's how, when Terra was like this was Terra, and when Earth hit it, it took everything and brought it all under, basically making Terra under Earth. And it became Earth. Millions of years later, there was the Bible, and a lot of the Bible stuff with the God and this and that. But I'm not trying to separate God and the religion from the spirituality and knowledge that I've got. This was what Brim had seen, so I can only give you what I've seen and what he's told me. And at this point in time, there was beings on here when the 7 days of creation. Well, the 6 days of creation, on the seventh day, God rested. So on that sixth day is when all this happened. These beings came to Earth. There was a huge war, and there was the fall of man. Well, the fallen had gotten jealous of humanity because we had something that they didn't have, and they didn't like it. So what happened was that, and there is actually, from this part, there is actual historical documents in many scriptures and in many different Bibles, and I've seen somebody else talk about this before, that this is in many cultures, Egyptian and all of these other cultures talk about beings coming here. They were originally called the Tartarians, and that's where the Tartarians were. The Tartarians were the original humans, from what I've understood, that they were the original humans. They were here, and then when the Nephilim came down, well, the fallen came down, they were mating with them, and that's where they were mating with the daughters of Earth and daughters of God. Why Adam and Eve were in the garden, which they were thrown out because, they ate from the tree of knowledge, but God put them out of there, not for, he didn't want them to become a mindless, immortal child. He wanted them to learn. So he put them out of the garden. So they chose that path. That's where our predestination comes in. After that, we had the choice to have free will, and we still have that free will, but now this stuff that's going to happen in our lives that we can change and alter, but sometimes we can't change them. How it happens and when it happens, we can control that because we are a spiritual being and we are part of this God. So at this time when the Nephilim were here, they were what? They were the fallen children with the Tartarians, and they were remaking these hybrids like centaurs and all kinds of weird, crazy things. They were doing their little thing over there. So back to Adam and Eve, when Adam and Eve were here, and then Cain and Abel, and when Cain, see, this is another thing that people don't want to talk about, is when Cain had sinned and he did the first sin. He was the first, and he said, and God said to him, Cain said, they're going to unalive you. He said, Cain said, they're going to unalive me. What am I going to do? Well, what are they going to do? They're going to do that. So he said, no, whoever harms you, and he gave him the mark on his forehead. He showed him that he still wanted him protected, but he has to come to know God, even repent for what he did. But he never did. He became that, and it became the Canaanites, and then the flood came, and a lot of those Nephilim and Tartarians went underground. And when they hid underground, when the flood was happening, they hid underground because it's an obviously fact that in our history, that's where your giants came from. These giants were hidden underground, and that's why a lot of Native American cultures came into it. A lot of spiritual people came into it and said, yeah, and even some manuscripts they have found that a lot of the giants and Nephilims and all that were under the earth. So when the flood happened, basically wiped out like 95% of them, and God made a covenant, and God's covenant was, hey, you are no longer to walk on this earth. If you're going to come on this earth, you are going to reincarnate on this earth. So that's where those fallen, some of them, or you want to call them Anunnaki or whatever, even some of them were here at this time. He said, nobody on this planet but humans. And that's where they made the covenant. So all of the fallen, all of the demons, and all of the beings that were down here had to go through a cycle to have to be reincarnated in a body. That's why when you're reading the Egyptian text and it talks about Thoth, what did Thoth do? He was jumping from body to body with technology and stones and crystals. That's what Thoth did, and that's where you came into the tablets and stuff. So when all this happened, this is where we don't understand, and a lot of people want to know what's happening today. Well, it's a matter of perspective at this point. It's a perspective and how you want to take the information. Humans are thinking that they are the superior race when they're really not. They're just like everybody else. We're all made of energy, and but we have an understanding, and we can do things that the animals can't do, but they can do things we can't do. So when all of this happened, that the earth was flooded, the giants came back out, and they were roaming around, and it was obviously stated in the Bible, and the different texts in the Bible also talked about what was it the Philistines, where David fought Goliath. Goliath was supposedly 9 foot tall or 11 feet tall. I'm not really sure because I really haven't looked into it, and this is part of the way I'm going to start talking about this kind of stuff, because I want to look it up more and get more in depth. But this is the general idea and the theory that I've gotten from the beings and the information they're giving me, that this is what I was meant to talk about, the creation, and have people understand where they came from, because we have abilities today. Where do those abilities come from? First off, when you have a fallen angel that had mated with a human, that DNA gets passed down. That DNA does not change. It just passes on. And that's where some people have the abilities they have where, oh, I can see something happen to me. Oh, I get a premonition, or I can bend a spoon. And that is what some people in certain areas of the world are looking for, that kind of ability. That's why blood was so important at that time and still is. They're looking for those people with that bloodline, because with that bloodline and that DNA, that corrupted DNA, they alter it, and whoever has the less of that problem and has more of the magical properties is who they're looking for. So, not as a conspiracy, but as we're going on, we understand that your mom said, well, I can see things here, or your dad or your sister, or I can see a ghost, or, I can see all these things happen. That's why, because these abilities are locked inside of us. And then that's how it was at this point. So at this time, the Jewish culture, they grew up, worshiping Yahweh and Jesus and the gods. But the problem with the Bible is this, that a lot of the Bible is contradicting, and a lot of it was rewritten. Constantine had changed the Bible. You had it. King James changed the Bible. And if anybody knows anything about King James, why did King James do it? He was basically pushed with his wife. No. Yes, his wife. His wife at the time, and she was pushing for him to look into the darkness. Because if you look at what King James had written, King James writes about demonology, and he writes all about all that negative stuff. And how he was able to produce a Bible is beyond me. And Constantine only did it because his wife wanted him to make the people come together and unite, and they wanted to control, and that's what it was. They founded this for control and to control the people, because, if they found a common enemy, then they could just, attack that. But the problem, a lot of stuff in the Bible is too, that you still had entities down here doing mischievous things. That's why in the Bible, everybody says there's only, God did this and God did that. God did this and God did that. Well, you don't seem to realize in the Bible it talks about this. And this is why I want to merge Christianity with the spirituality. And if I have to be the first to come out and say it, then so be it. But there wasn't one God in the Bible. It was obvious. And it states this many times, but people don't want to understand it, and they don't want to believe it. When in the first part of the Bible, let us make man in our image, in our likeness. Listen to that statement. Let us make man in our image and likeness. So that tells you that we are made with the essence of a God, an energy, a God particle. That is what is inside of us. We are a creator. We are, and he tells us when we got removed from the Garden of Eden, be fruitful and multiply. And we will work by the sweat of our brow. And that is what we do. And that's what we're supposed to be doing. And that makes us who we are today. Now, as time progressed, there was being still trying to come down here in the UFOs, because that was obviously stated. If you look at the Sumerian text, you look at the Egyptian pictographs, you look at Tempe Tempe, and I think I might have said that one wrong, and many other cultures and many other writings. You even got people on an island far away that's never even seen humanity. You see this written on a temple or on a stone. Where would they have gotten it? They don't watch TV. They don't have no other people going to that island. So how would they see that? See a big round disc, and they see beings coming down, not looking like a human. Where would they get that? It's obvious that they have encounters by beings, and angels and stuff like that. And see, here's the thing too. A lot of us want to say, well, aliens are demons. No, they're not. It's how you perceive it. You know, think about this. I think this is exactly what has happened, and I've heard this a billion times. That a lot of times when these beings came down, they were perceived as angels when they weren't. Because if you were almost like a Neanderthal or a human that didn't have too much experience with technology and know about technology, you've seen somebody come down here. You're living in a little mud hut. You're seeing this big metal ship come down. This guy firing lasers or whatever out of his hand or lifting something up. You go, oh my God, it's a god. That's exactly what you would say. That's humanity. When you see something more powerful than you, they assumed it was a god, and that's what happened. And at this time, we had multiple beings coming down here, which beats me why, but you had multiple beings down here, and that's another thing, and they were called gods. And this is where you start your pantheon of gods. You have the Indian gods, you have the Chinese gods, you have the Nordic gods, you have the Greek gods, and every island and everybody had separate gods. Why? Because those were the beings that came down and spoke to them, trying to guide humanity into the way it was supposed to be, but they still don't pay attention to that. And we're even going to talk about the Tower of Babel. At this time when you've got all this separation and these different beings coming down, they became the human culture we are today. But if we back up a few back in time, I know it seems like I'm all over the place, but I'm just going by the thoughts that I'm seeing and hearing from them, that at the Tower of Babel, they were trying to build this temple, this tower to the gods, because they wanted to be with the gods, the Egyptian gods or any of those gods. But there was the separation, and that's where the separation of the gods happened, because a lot of them were saying, like, God had separated their language, and when he separated their language, he separated many people into different parts of the world, where you've got the Nordics, the Chinese, and the other authenticities that are around the planet, and they were a product of their environment. They evolved by where they existed, by the food they ate, by the place they lived, and they evolved they adapted to their environments. That's why we have multiple colored people. Now, as for the sinking of Atlantis, and that is very simple, and it's very logical. And I've always said this, and I've seen it inside my mind. And I've seen this in my mind, that Atlantis, when Pangea was together, there was a place called Atlantis in the middle, and it was called the Atlantic Ocean. And then there was a war between the Atlanteans and the Lemurians. They wanted to do one way, they wanted to do things another way. And a lot of people won't say this, but there was 3 kinds of Atlantis. Those were the major hubs for them to do their trades. One was set in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. One was set near Hawaii. The other one was set near, I think near in the middle, in the Middle East, and that's where you got the circles from. That was one form of Atlantis. But the major Atlantis was the one in the Atlantic Ocean. When that war happened, Atlantis sank, and that's where Pangea, that whatever happened, made Pangea break apart, and that's where it became 9 continents. And so when these continents happened, and there was a separation. There was this separation between them, and Atlantis sank in the Atlantic Trench. And it's obviously stated because you've got the Burmese Road. You've got a road coming from Florida, and you've got a road coming near Italy. There's a road. There's 2 roads, each stone road, and they just go into the middle of the ocean. No one knows where to go. That was the road to Atlantis. Where did some of the Atlanteans go? Well, that's obviously stated because the Morai people in New Zealand have a culture, and have an acknowledgement that in their culture, because I used to date a Morai girl, she told me that in her culture that a lot of them are ancestors from Atlantis, and she told me she was talking to me about a lot of that, and a lot of the writing actually stems from Egyptian too. The Egyptian writing, if you take the Egyptian writing and you look at the Egyptian writing, it's the same writing that's on some of these Atlantean things that people find, and it also stems over to North America, to South America, where you got the Aztec, the Incas, and the Mayans. They all came from Atlantis, maybe at different times, and they migrated. Where did the Mayan religion go? Well, where did the Mayans go? Well, the Mayans actually migrated north, and they became um, through time, when the Mayans migrated north, they became the Mexicans, the Spanish, and whatever, that kind of culture up there. And they became the Native Americans in South America. Because if you look at South America, you can see that the imaging and the culture and the pictures and the writings all kind of resemble the Mayans, the Incas, the Egyptians. It's all one flow up. It all, if you follow it, and that's where it goes straight up to South America. And that's where we got the Native American tribes, because a lot of the Native American tribes never agreed with each other. Why? Why didn't they? Why didn't the Southern ever agree with the North? Because the Northern American natives that were up above came from a different area. When you had that huge Mongolian war, there was a huge war in Mongolia. They drifted through the strait and they became the Northern American tribes. And that's the history that I've learned from them, that they had came through that way, and they came and they meet it in the middle, and they found out, oh, you're here. Oh, we don't like you. Oh, we don't like you. You're different from us. Because if you look at the culture of the Northern American tribes, they more have the Asian heritage. And if you look at the Southern, they're more of the Egyptian heritage, the way they write, the things they make, the things they cook, their potteries, their culture, the way they speak, the way they act, their writings. I mean, it's obvious to see from my point of view, but everything you can take with a grain of salt. And that's what I've always, and I've heard this so many times play over in my mind, and that is what I've seen, that is how the cultures in the Native American came in. And then they want to say this guy, Christopher Columbus, came here and discovered America. No, he didn't. Shut up. He discovered the Bahama Islands. But anyway, the first tribes that I can understand that came over here from the Europe side was the Vikings that came over. And I think it was Eric the Red. He came down from the north and came down, and he made it all the way to Pennsylvania, because they found artifacts in Pennsylvania of the Vikings. They found that the culture in Pennsylvania of those Native Americans, they jumped from a less metal to a harder steel in no time, and they don't understand how that happened. That was because the Vikings brought it over, and a lot of those Vikings migrated over here because, again, there was a war over there, and and that's where a lot of them had that different color. Like some Native Americans have red hair, and that's where. And then after that, you have what? You have Columbus coming over here, them loading up this side of the planet, and that's where we all became the mixing pot. And I mean, it was pretty obvious because they knew about the land. How in the hell are you going to tell me in some stupid ass history book, how is it that Christopher Columbus knew, or any of those kings and queens knew about our fucking promised land, or the land of gold, or the city of gold? They've got that information from somewhere, because people were traveling over here, and that's where it went by word of mouth, and it had passed over to them. Oh, Thomas. And that's where I've gotten where humanity had started in the beginning. That's how it started. I mean, in my universe and in my parallel universe, if you want to call it, that's how I've seen it, and I've seen this a billion times. That a lot of things that we see out there that a lot of things that we think of, everything that we think of had to have come from somewhere. It came from God, because we are a creator and we are a source. And we have to understand that when we want to come into our fullness, we have to understand each other with love and light. And we have to also balance that ego that we have. And we have to balance this darkness, because that darkness and that ego is a part of us. And when we come to understand that we have that balance, we need it. We need that balance. It's supposed to be there. It's there for us to learn. It gives us wisdom. It gives us our discernment. It gives us our intuition. We need all that. We're here for what? We're here to learn. We're here to grow.
Do we really need love and light in this world? Is love and light really the answer?
No, there's a lot more to it. There's a lot more to it, and that's an understanding of humanity.
Well, the reason I say that, I mean no disrespect for me throwing counter arguments in here, but what I'm saying is that the ego, how I was taught was the ego was one of the most important things you could have. Without it, we would walk into traffic and die. We wouldn't know what traffic is. We wouldn't know how to go to the bathroom. See, I feel like this is a new age teaching.
Right.
Not an old age teaching. That's my opinion.
Ego, yes, we do need ego. And I've heard people say, you need to strip away the ego. You need to strip away the darkness. I'm like, no, you don't. No, you don't. Because that's what makes us human. Because sometimes we need that. Hey, you're doing a good job. Not being an egomaniac. We need to praise some people and raise them up, because sometimes people feel down. That ego helps us feel human. We don't want to go overboard, and we don't want to go and not feel it at all, because we might just go, well, I feel like crap because no one's giving me a freaking compliment. No one's acknowledging me, so I'm going to go off myself.
Brim, hold
right?
On. Let's look at any spiritual group on Facebook, because there's plenty of them that have millions of followers. If you just look at the replies, like it'll be like, you are too full of ego. It's like constant. Every argument is like about, you have too much ego. It's too much this, too much that. And I'm just like, oh my God. And then I go into the chat of like 100-page thing, and I go, are any of you spiritual? And they're like, what are you talking about? I go, do you do any spiritual work? And they're like, oh, look at you all high and mighty on your ego. And I'm like, damn straight, because I'm in the trenches, motherfucker. Go, what about you? They don't like it when I say that. We losing people. Your viewers are leaving. They don't like this.
Oh, well.
We didn't lose anybody.
Oh, well.
Those were strangers that left.
Oh, okay.
Monk and I are still here.
You know what I have to say about that? Yeah. Whoever is meant to hear that message is meant to be here. If you're not, then see ya.
I mean, I feel Jesus was extremely
I'm not worrying about.
But I feel Jesus, based on books of the Christ Child 1, 2, and 3, and some of the Apocrypha, wasn't exactly nice. I mean, they present that image, but even in the books of the Christ Child 1, 2, and 3, he did kill someone when he was a child. And when he was 9, he did debate the Pharisees. Like, he did tell them they were stupid. So you have to look at that greater argument too. So you essentially have the same thing that people had before, where now at least, where they go to churches, they give them all this money, and they have VIP seating. And isn't that the same thing as the Pharisees? The way I look at it.
Right.
I've been to these mega churches. I've seen them.
And I also found that it was, oh, you can't get angry. And I'm like, the hell with that bullshit. Jesus went in the freaking synagogues and tore them up because they were doing bad things. Jesus can't, I can't. I don't even know how to even reply to that. I'm like, are you out of your freaking mind? Because Jesus went in there, he tossed the place around because they were ruining the temple of the house of God, and that's where I came to say, well, you're a spiritual person. You're not supposed to have that righteous anger. You're not supposed to have that. Well, what? I'm not understanding that concept. I've never understood that. You know,
Well,
where
recently
oh well,
Drewski,
Jesus,
if you know who Drewski is,
huh?
Drewski's this black guy. He does skits. He did one of Erica Kirk. He did another one. He dressed up like her. He's a black guy. He did another one where he dressed up as a preacher, and he's like flying through the sky. And he's got like red velvet on his shoes. And he's like, look, I've been walking through the blood of Christ. But he's making fun of the churches. He gets hundreds of millions of views anytime he does a skit. It's so much drama when he makes these skits because that's what sells. But he has a point. And he was actually modeling himself off someone who's very big on TikTok that owns a church. And that person, they tried to talk about him, but eventually they had to shut their TikTok down. They had to like put it on private because too many people were talking in their comment section.
Do you know?
So, but that's my point.
Do you know what I feel right now?
What?
This is not that hard to figure out. It is really easy to figure out. Why do humans have to make it so complicated?
Well, that's true. Yeah. You don't want to destroy core belief systems. People have. Someone messaged me, and I think it was on Facebook, on a comment. Because some crazy lady went to another creator, and that has a lot of people, like millions, and made a comment, and she posted her picture, and so I made a comment on her page. It was very disrespectful what she said to her. So the girl jumps into my feed and then leaves a comment, and I just erased it. But the point of it is that people inherently, I hate to say this, I think we're the problem with the world. I think the world would survive just fine without us. It would flourish. It would be just like every other time. When the dinosaurs were here, it flourished just fine. They weren't digging up fossil fuels. The weak died because they got eaten. I mean, if you're in the ocean and you're a dolphin and you get sick or you get old, something eats you. That's the natural order of things.
Look
Right.
how the Earth recovered just during COVID with us working from home and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of healing was done to Earth and the air during that time.
Yeah. But even then, I remember I was on leave from pest control because I hurt my foot for like 4 months, and I remember like even with pest control, they made us essential workers. I wasn't working, but because I would understand for the food supply, people don't understand how much pest control goes into canning factories and stuff. But the point is, like for normal homes, you don't need that. But people wiggled their way into like that kind of getting the government to not shut down their business through lobbyists. But it's always humans that are the problem, if you really think about it. At least the last 100 years I'm here. Humans are the problem. It's financial gain. If Bashar's right and aliens do show
It's
themselves,
about greed.
well, if Bashar's right and aliens do show themselves in the next year, I mean, it's not like they haven't been here for a while, but they actually make a display. People won't know what to do. Their whole belief systems will be shattered. The only problem I have with what he's saying is that the only bad aliens are the Dracos, because I know Bashar channels a gray. So I'm like, I was like, the Greys have been doing stuff to people for a long time. So you really can't say the
I
Greys.
have that on. I know why the Greys came here. I know why the reptilians came here.
The
I know why the
reptilians.
Zeta come here.
Well, Linda Moulton
And a
House.
lot of the reptilians went under Earth. Huh?
Yeah, well, even Linda Moulton House said before she retired, and she was around for like 50 years. She was like, I can leave with one thing before I go. It goes, the reason the Earth is taken over by these aliens is because the Nordics, the Dracos, and the Greys are fighting each other all the time. If they'd stop fighting each other, one of them could take over. But they can't take over because they're always fighting each other. I don't know why they want the Earth so badly, but
It has minerals and it's a food supply and an energy bank.
yeah, but why were they so afraid of the Anunnaki?
And Anunnaki wanted gold and they wanted to make everything on here work for them.
Yeah, but I mean, they were terrified of the Anunnaki.
They
But
were.
again, they're probably fighting each other.
The Anunnaki, everybody wants to say the Anunnaki were just one kind of race. No, they were multiple races. There were multiple races of beings.
Yeah,
Just the
but
ones
I
that were
mean,
in charge had the elongated heads.
yeah, but you had the giants too. I remember being an Anunnaki, like being a high-ranking one.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember parts of it, like one part in particular. But the point is that it was like they were terrified. For some reason, they were terrified. Like they went back in the earth.
The Anunnaki was so powerful back then.
They still
But
are.
the Anunnaki screwed up with the human race. So now they're afraid of us.
I don't know. I think they'll come back.
They will. They do.
I mean, I think their planet will come back. There's supposedly
It's
27,000.
stated now. It is stated that their orbit is around Mars. No, it's around Jupiter and Mars right now, is what it's stated. So it said
Look at the comments.
that they
Mom,
use.
you broke. Listen to your soul's heart. It's broken to pieces. I'm sorry.
Why did you say you think that Anunnaki is afraid of us?
I don't know. It's what I intuitively feel that they are. No. Well, he said it, not me. So
I did.
Why did you
Because
say that?
when they created. Because when they were making humans, they had advanced the human race. They jumped the human race a million years from what they were. We were supposed to be Neanderthals. We weren't supposed to be this evolved right now. We're not supposed to have all this stuff. But they're afraid of us now because when they jumped the human civilization a million years with all of that bioengineering that they had done to the human race. And am I lagging?
Don't think so.
Oh, I see Thomas not moving, and I'm like, wait a minute, am I lagging? But yeah, they evolved the human race about a million years, and that's when the Palladians came down here and gave us that extra spark that we needed. That they call it something. This sort of a light, the spark that they gave to humanity, which now, if the Anunnaki comes back here, that and a lot of those beings are jealous because of what we can go right to source when they can't. We can, but a lot of them can't. They have to go through several channels, from what I've always understood. But as the humans, we don't have to pass on and be a spiritual being to talk to the Creator. We as humans talk to the Creator. Therefore, they're afraid of that because we jumped in evolution so fast that if we get our act together and get our head out of our butts, and we can be an exceptional race. We can once again be the human race that were in the universe before all of it started. See, a lot of people don't understand the human race was the most powerful race in the interstellar universe, but they've got eliminated by a lot of different races. And the only reason why the Anunnaki took in the human race, which were the Tartarians at that time, came into play that they wanted us to mine gold. That's why they went into Mars, and that's the whole thing with the Iji. They came here to mine gold, but the Iji said, "No, we ain't doing it." So then they created the humans, and the humans were not doing it the way that they wanted. So they had to keep on evolving humanity to a certain level, but then they had to use their own DNA inside of our DNA, and that's where we became too knowledgeable, too smart for them, and we to get the hell off the planet. And it was our planet, so we had the right, so they had to leave. Who left?
I don't know what you mean, Paul.
Who says somebody left?
Well, maybe she didn't like what you were
Monk.
saying to her.
Listen to your soul. Maybe she don't want to hear what you have to say about her friendship, because maybe she has every right to block you if she wants to.
That was my thought, because she was liking the conversation.
Yeah. You got a problem with her? Why don't you just message her from a side account?
But
I was going to say, I think it sounded like a conversation for DM.
Yeah,
not alive.
It's not alive, bro.
But this is this is the universe that I had got my information from. Every universe is different, and see, that's another thing that we don't a lot of us don't understand. My universe that I came from, that's what happened. Your universe could have been totally different. You could have had the Adam and Eve, and whatever happened in that timeline in your universe could have happened. But what we don't understand is we have all these multiverses crashing into one, and we're all trying to understand each other, and it's like we're talking in a room full of people we can't understand.
Okay.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And it becomes an echo chamber. That's why in one of my videos I say people are just listening to this echo chamber, and they don't understand that, and they don't want to perceive that, and they don't want to listen to, oh, that person thinks differently, it doesn't follow me, I don't want to listen to that. But we don't understand that we're all part of a universe, a multiple universe. Why do you think he says we're an omni being? We're a multi-universal being because we're traveling through timelines. Every time we gain a knowledge, we actually are evolving into a different universe. But a lot of people don't want to understand that.
Well,
because you don't think alike. You're different or you're evil. Huh?
I got to get out. I got to do some work. But I appreciate it. I was just jumping in. So you guys have a good night.
No problem.
Peace.
You too, Thomas. Thanks for coming in.
But that's how in my universe and how I've been given this knowledge to tell it in this universe, and I've always knew that Brim was an interdimensional.
Hold on just a second. Hold on a second. Wait for Monk to get back. She's coming back. There she is. Okay. The issue left, and if she comes back and starts anything, I'll mute her.
I don't even know what happened.
Well, I'm not going to let anybody run Monk off.
Oh, why would anybody run her off?
I don't know what her problem was, but she came in and was rude, and
who was?
I don't want to say it out loud in the live, but
then, the one that said something a minute ago about
and Thomas and I said, she was like, oh, she left, and Thomas and I both said she probably didn't want. It's probably because of something you said. And I said, yeah, that belongs in DM, not in a live. And so did Thomas. And she said, bye, y'all.
Goodbye, everybody.
We said adios.
Yeah, well, there's always kind of a problem every time, just
Yeah.
about.
Oh, yeah. Well, the first time I met her, we kind of had words. So,
Well, me and her did too once, which was stupid because of what it was my fault indeed, but
well, anyway,
I,
And
Monk's back,
I
and
never
that's the
really
main
said,
thing. And I wanted you to wait
and I
until
never
Monk
said that
got
this
back.
was. And when I explain this in the beginning, this is when people come in late. They jump into a conversation and they don't understand the whole concept of what was being spoken. But as I said before, this is the reality that I came from. This is the line, the information that I have gotten from my guides. This is how it happened. Your timeline might be different. You might have all had we all might some of you might have had where it was God and Jesus and God created the earth and all that. You see what I'm saying? That not every universe is going to be the same. Every universe is created differently, like we are as individuals. We are created differently. This is my universe, and this is what I'm explaining. Your universe might be different. So that's why we're unique in how we are. And with that understanding, we can understand each other in a way where the main purpose is it doesn't matter where we came from. It matters where we're going. We're all trying to accomplish the same goal.
Mhm.
We're trying to have peace, love, and save humanity. It doesn't matter what universe you came from. It doesn't matter what race you are. It doesn't matter what species you are. It doesn't matter what being you are. We all have the same goal. It's what it is, to
I
unite, to
agree.
be loving, and to be a peaceful universe.
Yeah, you're right. And everybody's been arguing a lot lately, and Yaya addressed that the other night. Like, why? Because a lot of stuff is happening, but you don't have to worry about me because I don't know anything or see anything anyway, so it's cool.
Me
Uh, uh,
neither.
and again, the main point is, in all of this, no matter where you freaking came from, be yourself. That's why I've always said, be yourself. Be yourself and understand yourself. And when you be your authentic self, you're gonna come to understandings of what maybe you didn't come from this timeline. I like people were saying the Bernstein Bears. What? Or Curious George had a tail. I know he had a freaking tail. People are telling me, no, he didn't have a tail. The hell he didn't. Or listening to Queen when he's speaking, we are the princes of the universe. There's no
You're so funny. That's what
the
everybody should
hell.
do.
Oh,
Just laugh.
dystopia. Thank you very much.
I think there's a lot of sick
And
people out there, I can
that's
tell
where these
you.
Mandela effects happen.
The longer I stay on TikTok,
And
the
that's where these
sicker
Mandela
people get. I'm like, there's a lot of sickos.
and that's where your Mandela effects happen though. And that's what people don't understand. That's where every time there's a different Mandela effect, there's somebody seeing this and this one don't see that. That's a Mandela effect. And that was probably when the universe merged with yours.
Oh, Lord, I just want to say too much sometimes when I see a lot of drama. I just want to say, grow a pair of something. Get off your high horse.
And it's understand. And I think this is what it is too. We just don't have to understand ourselves. We have to understand the earth we're on and the universe we're in. We are put on different universes for what? To learn. Maybe you're done learning something in that universe, so you put over in this universe. Maybe there's a lesson I need to learn in this universe. You know? And that's how I'm thinking. I think this happens too, that a lot of us are from different universes, but we keep shifting universes because there's new lessons we need to learn.
Right. I'm sure there's some. Mine, I still need to learn patience, and I'm sometimes I'm losing patience When I listen to some of these lives, I'm like, oh my God, just sounds like a bunch of kids.
That's when I go watch puppy videos. Otherwise, my mood
Yeah, when I read
goes to a bad
comments,
place.
just watching videos, looking at people's comments, just, I'm like,
I mean, I went in somebody's live and they were sitting there, use me as a whipping boy.
as a whipping
And you know
boy.
what? Everybody was like,
You
I
guys,
wasn't even
let's
mad
quit
at it. I'm
talking
like,
about the drama,
I
Hmm.
please.
was like, okay. But again, that was an understanding for me to learn. And that was to learn who we are as an individual.
Oh, I
Because
think I know
when
what you
we
were talking
take
about.
ourselves away from all of that,
Hmm.
yeah,
Where
when we
did
take ourselves out of it and we don't, huh?
I'm trying to redirect the conversation from the
Oh,
recent
I
drama
am.
from the. Okay, sorry.
Sorry, that was a
I am. See,
milestone.
but
I reached
there was
level
a
12.
there's a way there's a the way I'm trying to explain this is it's not that I'm trying to get it is getting away from that, and that is the point. When we feed this thing, this negativity of these dramas in our lives or these traumas, we don't grow. And so when we separate ourselves from that and we become looking within ourselves of why is that bothering us, why is this triggering us, we then have the understanding of, okay, it's not what this person thought, it's what I'm thinking here. And that's where we repair what we need to repair. And with that understanding, we become a greater individual, a greater human, I hope, with the understanding of how this person thinks and how we need to be mindful of certain people. And because we're all in this universe together as one, so we have to learn how to coexist as one on a peaceful and united front. Because if we don't become one in this united front and one collective, not just little multiple collectives here and there, of okay, 20 people here, 15 people here, 100 here, 1,000 there, 1,000,000 here. That's in separation. But if we were to work together as one, we could become 2,000,000 people battling this negative and this darkness or these entities that come in and do these things. If we would unite, we could get rid of it faster. And that's been my whole thing in the beginning, that we have to unite as one individual, as one big giant collective of people, so we can help every individual. And some of us don't want to do that. Some of us want to keep living in that. We can plant those seeds, but eventually, hopefully, with us showing how we're living and how we're being, they will be inspired to change. But again, that if that's their pathway, we can't change that because it's on them. Sometimes people come here to do this thing on purpose so we can have a better understanding on how to deal with it in certain situations. Because, just imagine in the future, you trying to help Cindy over here and her mom passed away because she had cancer. How we won't know how to deal with that because we've never experienced that. With that understanding of, okay, my mom passed away on that, so I would understand how would I help the next individual when I'm trying to help them in a new body, in a new form, and I'm a guardian angel or whatever I'm being to help an individual. We would know how to deal with that because we've experienced it here on Earth. We can help them, maybe come back here, help some people on Earth, or help somebody in another school. That is why we're here, to learn these things and to better ourselves with an understanding. Ugh,
You were
water.
talking about Atlantis, and then you said something about the Anunnaki, and that's when we interrupted you.
Yeah. There was originally 3 Atlantises, and the 3 Atlantises they were kind of like Atlantis, but they might have had different names. But some people called them Atlantis. There was one in the middle of the ocean, which was the Atlantic Trench. There was another one in the Middle East by the edge of the sea. I can't remember what it was. And the other one was Lemuria. They called it Atlantis, which was near Hawaii. When all three of them were fighting each other, and that's where the land separated, and it caused the Pangea to break apart and separate. And if you look on the map where certain things are, it's obvious that we're never going to find Atlantis. Why you're not going to find it? Because it's under the ocean. It's in the Atlantic Trench. Why do you think it's called the Atlantic Trench? Because it's in the Atlantic. And if you look at some of the history of where Atlantis was, there's a road, I think, that comes out there's a statue, and I see it, but I don't know the name of it. That it's called the Burmese Road. There's part of the road that goes right in the middle of the ocean that drops off from that side. And if you look where Atlantis was from the Florida side, there's a road that goes up and drops off into the ocean. That's where Atlantis is. What is Bermuda Triangle? The Bermuda Triangle was a temple that held a Stargate, and it was sank because the people of Atlantis were power hungry, so it sank, and they were greedy and they became power hungry, and they wanted to do certain things, and it sank it. Somebody sank it. I don't remember how it sank, but it sank anyway. And right now Atlantis is causing all those storms because of the electric the magnetic energy that's coming from that place, because the Stargate is broken and it's underwater. And if I remember correctly, it's called Stargate 11. That's originally where that Stargate is. Is there another? There's 21 Stargates. The other Stargate, or maybe 27, I can't remember what that is. But the number 21 is supposed to be Iran. That's why that's going on. But I know that Atlantis was in the middle of the ocean. I'll die on that battle hill because I know it is. And I feel it. I know it. I've seen it, and I'm not going to change my mind on that. I mean, it's people have their opinion, but on that part, I know where I'm going to stand on that. A lot of things that I will take the advice and listen to every individual, but for me, that's where Atlantis is, and I know it. And when you know something, and that's one thing that I'm not gonna. It's like I know that God is out there. I know there's a spirit out there, and when Atlantis fell,
say again
a lot of
where
the
you
people
said it is. Say again where you said it is. Sorry, I was
Atlantis is
getting
in the middle
interrupted.
of the Atlantis is in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean because towards the middle, because the Atlantic Trench is right straight down the middle. And if you look, there's a road. I can't remember the name of the road. It's over on the Europe side, where there's a thing. There was a guy standing there with a statue, and there was a road that went right into the ocean, and it sinks. And if you look, if you go directly in this direction from the Burmese Road, it goes straight up, and in the middle, both of the roads end right in the middle of the ocean, and that's where Atlantis was. And a lot of the survivors that were in Atlantis, some of them flew, some of them, they went back to Egypt. Some of them, a lot of them migrated to South America, and that's where your Mayans came in, and a lot of indigenous people from New Zealand came from there too, because I dated a Morai girl, and the Morai girl told me that her culture was basically started from there. And then I talked to a Hawaiian girl, and she was also telling me that. And I talked to a Filipino girl, and they basically have the same thing, that they originated from the Atlantis. And when Atlantis sank, some of them over there came from Lemuria too. So again, I'm focusing on this Atlantic one right now. And the Atlantic one, were affiliated with the Egyptians, because the Egyptian culture actually came to Southern American Indians, Native Americans. And you can look, because there was an evolution of where when Atlantis sank, they came over and they became the Incas and the Aztecs, and there was another tribe, and there was a city of gold that they built. That city of gold was what Columbus was looking for. That's why he did the city of gold, because they heard about it, they knew about it, and that's why they went over there. Because some of the buildings were still standing in the middle of South America. Because if you look at the Amazon jungle now, they have also mapped that there was a huge civilization there that was buried under the jungle, and they don't know where it came from, because that was part of Atlantis too. And that city of gold is most likely going to be underground. And the Aztecs, the Incas, and all migrated, and they became the Mayans. And a lot of the Mayans were more of the religious of the Atlanteans, and they became so technologically advanced and knowledgeable. It's rumored that some of them ascended, and the ones that didn't ascend migrated because there was nobody to mine the fields. There was nobody to hunt for them, and they had too many people there. So a lot of those Mayans migrated to be Mexicans and all the Brazilians and all them. And as they were migrating north, some dropped camp and stayed there, and they just moved up on until they got to South America. That's why your southern natives didn't agree with the northern natives, because the northern natives came from Asia, and if you look at them, you look and you understand them, and you see how their culture is. Both of the cultures represent something. Most of the northern cultures are more about the Asian thing, and the southern are more looking like the southern natives, were their writings, their pictures, their food, their cooking, their pottery, their writings, their pictographs are all stemmed from one original place, which was Egypt. It just evolved over time. That when we evolve, even our writing changes, and who we are and how we dress are all the same, but they do change over time. We could sit here, if I was to take 1,000 people and put them on an island and not bother them for 100 years, are they going to be changed? Yes, they're going to be different, because they're going to be a product of their environment, by the food they eat, the weather, the climate, whatever climate they're in is what they're going to change to. They're adapting to that, and that's what we have to do as humans. We have to adapt to our environments and not let people take control of us. Well, anybody?
Can you say that again?
Any questions? Did you
Can you
say it?
repeat it?
Oh, no.
I'm teasing.
Do you have any questions? Do you have any questions?
No.
I can't
Not
believe I
me.
said that. Like I could hear it flooding through my mind. I'm like trying to keep up with it.
In one breath.
Yeah. But that's how I've got it. That's how it came from my universe, and I came from, and that's the understanding that I know. And if that helps somebody in this universe, or if it relates to somebody and they feel it and it resonates with them, cool. Bring it to your life. Understanding, maybe you can figure out what's happening in this universe. Because we're all from different universes, and that's why we got the Mandela effects.
Sounds good to me.
Anybody got any questions? Oh, well, I can also say there was many gods in the Bible. I can go on that aspect too, because in the beginning, originally what I was saying, but I sidetracked myself. It says, let us make man in our image and in our likeness. That obviously states right there that there was many gods there. And then later on, there's many gods. Everybody wants to say there was one God in the Bible, which there really wasn't, because even Moses was the aspect. Moses even said when he was coming down from the mountain, one of the 10 Commandments, you shall not worship any other God before me. Okay, so there's other gods here. They were all doing things on their own because there was the gods and then there was the creator. Everybody wants to put the creator with the gods. No, 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 no. The creator is the creator. The God is the God of the planet. And who is in control of that planet at the time? Who was to crawl on their belly and to rule the earth?
Well, my
Him.
understanding was their source, and there were multiple gods, and the God of the Bible was actually the God of war.
Yeah, and you see, in the Bible, you have one God. I'm a jealous God. That's not all loving. Sorry. Or you sinned, and I'm going to do this. Or you didn't listen to me. I'm going to do that. All of them were different beings. All of them were different God people playing this one God creator, and they were manipulating the human race. The creator himself, as a loving being, he created Jesus. That came from the creator. The gods that were here on the earth were manipulating humanity. They were, let's march around a city until the walls break down, or let's burn an offering. A loving God wouldn't say that. It's obviously stating that there was another God there manipulating each certain thing.
Yep.
And we don't know what really the truth is unless you look at an older Bible, because a lot of the Bible was written by Constantine. He rewrote some stuff and
Yep,
added
I
things
just
in.
heard that.
That was a form of control. That was a form of control by the Roman Empire. And the same thing with King James. When he got it, he made a thing. And who was to trust King James? Because he was one writing thing about demonology,
He
writing
had
books about
his mother
demonology.
beheaded too.
Yeah, and he did things to his family. And so,
Yep.
again, you want to trust something that came from something like that. If you want a true understanding of the Bible, look within yourself. Look and feel what resonates with you. Also, look at old manuscripts. Look at old Bibles. The truth is out there. Well, I sound like X-Files for a moment. You just have to find it.
Do 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 do. I'll send you this lady's videos. Miss Lily or something she calls herself, that said she belonged to the church for 48 years and she started really studying the Bible, and she found out, all
You know
of
what
that
changed
stuff
me?
you just said that you were just talking about. So she left the church.
And here's the thing about the Bible too. And I don't know where this came from, but this is how I'm hearing it. When Jesus was crucified, he said the sky turned dark, and God turned his face away from Jesus. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. He loved Jesus. He wouldn't turn his face. What he was turning his face was why God turned his face away from the earth and it became dark is because of the sin that humanity has done and the wrongdoings that they have done and all that negative energy that was around. That's why he turned. He couldn't see that. He didn't want to see it. And here's the thing too, that a lot of Christians and a lot of people, I'm probably going to get beat down for this, but I don't even care at this point, because I'm going to be myself. That
There you go.
that when, and I don't know where this, and I feel this, and I know I've heard it, that when you say Jesus died for our sins, no, he didn't. No, he didn't. He didn't make your sin go away. He washed it away. Why do you think it says washed in the blood of him? Because that's what he did. He washed the sin away with his blood and his pureness of himself. He washed away those sins. If it wasn't for him washing away the sins, would still be the sinful person. He didn't die for him. He washed it away. And it took himself to wash away those sins. And
Yeah.
that's what it was. And the same thing when in the Garden of Yosemite, I don't know why this came in, and I just heard this now. In the Garden of Yosemite, when he was kneeling and he was praying to God, going, God, take this cup from me. No, he wasn't being afraid. He wasn't afraid of it all. He knew what he had to do. he said that he didn't. The reason why he said, "Take the cup from me," I can't. I don't know if I can do this. And what he meant was, and this is where I'm getting it, that he doesn't know if he can wash all the blood away and all the sin away from the earth. He knew he had to do it. He wasn't trying to back out of it. He was just unsure of himself that he could be that individual to do that, as a father would say to his son, like, "Dad, I don't know if I can do this." God said, "You can do this. You're my son. For in you I am well pleased." That is why he did it. And that he did. He washed the sin away. And we were always meant to be in his likeness. We're not there to be worshiping him. And, we don't have to go through Mary to go to Jesus. No. If you talk to Jesus, you talk to him. That is what it is to be human. And that's where a lot of people wanted to have control. Well, if you don't do this penance or you don't talk to a father, how can a father in a church say to you, "You repented of your sins"? No, he's not God. He can't repent me of my sins. Only Jesus can. Only God can. He can't. So again, that's where you're not paying attention. You're just going by what humans are telling you. You have to go within yourself, and what you feel, your heart is feeling. When you listen to your brain, it's going to lead you into trouble.
Yeah. And that lady said which I've already heard that he's Yah. She calls him Yah, Yahweh, and then Yeshua for Jesus. So it says in there she found the verses that tell you the truth part.
And here's another thing. Human body. Everybody wants to say, well, why did Jesus say the body was a temple? I can tell you. If it resonates with you, it's fine. There's three parts of humanity. There's three parts of a human body. You have the human body, you have the soul, you have the essence. Our essence is who we are on this planet. That's the essence. The soul is what lingers inside of us. Our body, well, of course you know what it is. That's 3 in 1. There's the temple. When you align all three, you become that temple. You become that beacon of light to show through the universe. That's why when we do this, what are we doing? We're making a temple. We're making a pyramid. Why all your mantras and your things make certain designs and temples and pyramids? That's why. Everything is 3 in 1. That's where your 3 in 1 is. That is our point, and that is what we have to understand, that once we become aligned with our mind, our soul, our body, and our essence, we come in line with that, we become that beacon, we become that light. There's your 3. That's why 3 is important.
Yeah.
Everything happens in 3s. Why is it?
The Trinity.
Yes, exactly, Monk. He wanted us to be like him. I swear somewhere in the Bible it also says, "You can be even greater than me." I think it says that too.
Yeah, I think I heard that.
I'll have to look that up.
Yeah.
That he says, "Don't follow me. Be yourself. You can be like me. You can be even greater than me." And when he hung on the cross, what did he say? There would be no more separation between the Jews and the Gentiles. And that's where I said the Gentiles were more of what the Anunnaki were. Oh, no, not the Anunnaki. Let me rephrase that. It was where the Tartarians came into play, and the Nephilims that were still there, and that bloodline. Those were considered the Gentiles. The Jewish were the ones that kept that purity and stayed within their culture. And he said, "Let there be no more separation, but through the blood of Christ, we all should be saved." So there would be no more separation. And what are we doing now? We're separating each other when we're not supposed to. This is the time for the great gathering. I sound like the Highlander for a moment. The great gathering. and we come into our awareness, and it's called the year of ascension. People, that's why, because when we're here to ascend, we're here to learn. That's why we're on earth. We're here to learn. We're here to learn and to be the greater being we are. What is our, and we're not all going to be sitting there and go, oh, holy Jesus, in front of a temple or instead of sitting on the stairs. No, we're not going to sit here and just be worshiping and praising him for all eternity in front of his throne. I mean, what would be the point of us going through all of this? Just to sit in front of him and kneel and go, Yahweh, I love you. Yahweh, I love you. That sounds pretty boring to me.
Yeah.
I would rather be out there going around the universe and helping every individual out there, even come back to Earth on the new Earth and help individuals. Doing that kind of thing, that's not what it was meant to be. Walking the streets of gold and living a pure castle where we're never this and never that. No, that doesn't sound fun to me. It sounds boring and lame. Eternity in a city of gold. No, no, sorry.
And they
to
say we're
me,
just
I've
going to
never.
worship him all day. Just sit every day, worship.
Basically, I'm not. No, I'm not going to sit here and play a trumpet or sit there and sing all the time. No, sorry. I want to help humanity and help the beings out there in the universe, and I know there's more than just us out there.
Yeah.
I mean, there's billions and billions of stars.
I was listening to a lady that I followed a long time ago, and she must have left for a while, and she came back, but she said that she was told, but she's not going to give no dates or tell anybody, but that it was coming soon, that the ascension thing was coming soon, but she said, they're going to go ahead.
I was just about to say that too. Now you might have to follow a path here. It took 6 days of creation. God said a day is like 1,000 years. So in reality, Earth has been here 13,000 years.
Yeah.
When's the 14,000? The 14,000. All right. I'm gonna have to start off in the beginning a little. When God created, he created the earth and the planets and everything in 6 days. He rested on the seventh. That's 7 days right there. So when Adam first stepped foot on the earth, and I know I have the book, and I've seen the book. I used to study this book, that the minute Adam came to earth, from the time of the Passover, when Jesus had been crucified on the cross, was 2,000 years. From the time that Jesus was crucified on the cross until now has been 4,000 years, which has been 4 days. So with that being said, that would make 13, it would be 13 days. You could look at it as 13,000 years, and that's where we are right now. When is the time approaching? No one said, and he said, no one's going to know the day, no one's going to know the time. Well, obviously, it's impossible to learn and know that because the calendars are so screwed up. Nobody knows what is what.
Right.
But at the 13th millennium, which would be the year 2000, from anywhere from 2000 to 3000, we're going to have the tribulation. We're going to have the ascension. We're going to have the 7 years of tribulation. We're going to have the ascension. We're going to have the 4 angels coming down, the 4 riders of apocalypse, and all that's supposed to happen within this next 1,000 years. But we don't know when the time frame is because the calendars are messed up and time has been changed around. So again, time was a human concept too that we had made up so we can record and do things. But in God's eyes, this planet's been here 13 days. Humans have been on the earth 6 days. Well, yeah, 6 days humans have been on the earth. And on the 7th day is when that holy city, well, on the 14th millennium, which would be the year 3000 to 4000, is when the holy city is going to come down, and we're going to have the dead. And see, this is another thing that I didn't agree with a lot of the Christian philosophy, was they were saying that once you die, you're going to go to hell or you're going to go to heaven. And I know I'm going to get crucified for this one too. But when you hear the sound of the trumpet, when Jesus comes down, the dead and the living will be caught up into heaven. those that have passed on that were righteous are going to ascend to heaven at that point. That they're going up. Even some of the living that were here, that followed the teachings in the spiritual and they're in that spirit of enlightenment, they are going to go up too. Now the dead, what does it mean as it says the dead in Christ? Well, are going to be left here, which is the ones that are passed away on the ground. They're still going to be in there. They're going to be in their purgatory. And the people that are alive that did these bad things and they're not doing that, they are still going to be on this earth. Now, when Satan gets thrown up in the abyss and the Antichrist reveals himself, that when the holy city comes down, all of the people that are dead are going to be outside of that holy city. They're going to get that chance because that is what is deemed. Because what they could say, and there won't be no excuse either. And the reason for that is, now say Joe over here, he did a massive bunch of bad things, and he was a serial person. You know what I mean by that?
Yeah.
And he never repented, and he's like, well, and he had passed on. So if he just goes up to the thing, he goes up to the throne judgment, and that kind of stuff. If you want to follow that, or the judgments in ourselves, depending how you're looking at it. I'm taking this from both religion and spirituality. When you get to that judgment, you're going to judge yourself, and what is the first thing your body and your human essence is going to say? Well, Satan made me do it. Again, you were influenced by Satan. You did have the free will, but you were influenced. So instead of that happening, he said this that he's going to do, which is before that white throne judgment, when all the holy city comes down, you have all of the people that have passed on and all the people that are dead inside of Christ as to walking around, acting like a zombie, basically. They're going to be on the earth, and they're going to get that chance to be themselves without that darkness infecting us, because it's going to be locked into an abyss with the Antichrist. So the Bible says that we're going to be there for we're going to have 1,000 years. This is going to be from the year 3000 to the year 4000 or somewhere like that, around there. And I can't quote times because we don't know what time is, but within that time frame, they're going to have the chance to be the better person, and they won't be able to say at that throne judgment, well, Satan made me do it. No, Satan was locked up. That was on yourself, buddy. You did it. You did it. You had the choice. You chose to keep doing bad things. You can't blame him. He's been locked up for 1,000 years. It's on you. So again, that's where I say it's always about in ourselves, because we make our own personal hell, and that's what it is.
Yeah.
We're making our own personal hells. That whatever our trauma is, and if we don't get out of it, we're making our hells.
But in the
We
readings
can make
that
it on earth.
the readings I've listened to, such as my mom's and other people's readings, they all seem very happy on the other side, wherever they are at the time since their passing. They all act like everything's fine. Like, I've heard of them having to go through their life review thing, and
Right.
but they don't know, they don't talk about anything bad that happened while they were here on earth in any reading that I've heard from a true medium. Not the
And
fake ones.
here's the thing that people don't understand. Oh, sorry.
No.
Another thing that people don't understand is, after that judgment, and we're living in our personal hell, or this big fiery pit. Do you know you can still get out of that? When you come to understand who you are, you can reverse that effect. You can break that wheel, even when that judgment has been put on you, either by yourself or the source or God or whatever. You can still break that wheel. You just have to acknowledge who you are. It's not going to be a permanent thing. And that's what was cut out of the Bible, I'm feeling too, that it was cut out, that you'll be in that hell and you're going to feel that aloneness. And what is the hell that people are thinking? This aloneness, and you're going to feel this fiery. It's a metaphorical as to what I'm saying is it's metaphorical because you're going to feel yourself burning because you're not near source. That's going to be, it's going to burn your soul up. You're going to feel it burn you, and that being in that not with God or with source, it's going to burn you up, and you're going to have to understand that what you did was wrong, and you have to say, hey, I did this, and accept it and move on. Because if you don't move on, you're just going to be living in that cycle forever. And that is going to be your hell. We have a chance, even when that judgment happens, well, you didn't do this, well, you didn't do that. And you still go into that. You're not ready yet, basically, is what he's saying. You're not ready yet. And you have all these chances, so you're going to stay in this pit, or you're going to stay in that personal hell until you yourself acknowledge, I don't need to be here. And that was taken out. A lot of things were taken out, and that's where a lot of understanding is, that when we open our minds and see the broader perspective of things, instead of seeing things from this, it literally says this, and it means literally this. Some things in the Bible are a metaphor. I mean, it's pretty obvious where Jesus said, don't look at your brother, don't look at the plank for your, don't look for the piece of sawdust in your brother's eye, look at the plank in your own. Basically, it's metaphors. It's telling you right there what you need to do. Or he who did not sin cast the first stone. Did anyone cast a stone? No, because everybody's a sinner.
Mm,
Why?
I just
Because
said
everybody's
that
doing bad things
today.
and they didn't fix themselves.
I just
Huh?
said that in a comment today on somebody's video because somebody said something stupid, and I said that very same.
And it all stems back to what? What does it all stem back to? This whole conversation, who
Judgment.
does it stem from? The judgment of yourself. You are judging yourself.
Mhm.
Work with yourself and conquer that and be that light. That is what all this was about. This whole entire thing was about being yourself. Look within yourself, because you are creating that world. You have free will. Some things are predestined because they're meant to happen. We can change in how it alters and how it goes,
Mm.
but we also have to understand that we are the writers. We are our creation. We are creators. We are that light. When we look within ourselves and we find what we need to do it. It's all back to being yourself. Everything is inside yourself. You don't need to look to the stars. And I remember this in the Bible. You don't need to look to the stars for an answer. You don't need to look to anybody but yourself. Everything we need is on earth. Earth. What is earth? Ourselves. What are we? Part of earth. Humans. What is humans? Humans is water and mud, basically. What is in our bodies? 70-something water. We got our bones are made out of crystals and minerals. What are we? We're part of earth. Where's the answer? In earth. What are we? Earth. For earth. Earthlings. From earth. From Gaia. Hello.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. I'm just trying to understand.
Why would a loving God who gave us free will send us to hell for not following him? He wouldn't. You're sending yourself there if you think about it, because you're sending yourself to that hell. He's not sending us. It's us we're sending ourselves, because we're refusing to be that love, that light in the humanity that we're supposed to do. If we're refusing it, we're the ones doing that. He knows the outcome. Why does he know the outcome? Because he knows how you're going to act. You have the freedom to choose that. That's why we want to strive to know what's going to happen. Not everybody's going to be lost. A lot of people are going to be saved. Even some of the ones that we think were the worst scumbags on the earth. Some of them are still going to be saved because they learn to be themselves in that spiritual light.
Yeah. And we all have bad and good in us. And
Exactly,
it's a
monk.
balance thing. You have to balance everything, your good and your bad.
Unconditional love. Unconditional love. No matter what somebody does to you, you're still going to love them. Maybe from far away, but we're still going to love them.
Yep.
And I had this conversation yesterday. Me, Gabby, and a bunch of other people. There was this guy in there, he's a Christian guy, and oh my word! And it was a battle.
They're the worst to talk to. Oh my God.
He was saying he didn't sin.
You can't change their minds either. Although that
And I
woman,
was like, dude, everybody sins.
that woman changed her mind
Sometimes we don't even know it.
after 28 years, so I guess some of them their minds can be changed.
He's like, I'm perfect. I don't do any sin. I go, there you go. You just broke a sin. You just broke a rule. You're lying to yourself for one, and you're not acknowledging that you're a sinner. And then he said something that was really important. He said, well, and a lot of other people said it too at the same time. It was really funny because like 5 people said it at the same exact time. That if you were so perfect, you wouldn't be on here on earth. When you're not on earth is when you've done things you need to do. You wouldn't be here if you were perfect. That's the point of us being here, to learn, to do what we need to do. Hello, Azrael.
Babies are perfect, but
Babies are perfect
when you grow up,
until they're
you're
tainted
not
by human society.
perfect anymore.
No. Because the way human society has taught them and the parents, and that's where you're a product of your environment.
Yeah.
Whatever environment you're in is what you're going to become. Unless you fight against it. And you become the black sheep like me.
If you judge people, just like in churches, you walk in, you don't have the right clothes on, everybody judges you right off the bat.
Right?
By what you're wearing. It doesn't
and that's the thing. When you judge people, you're not... Even the Bible says we're not allowed to judge people. If you want to go that route. The Bible says, do not judge your brother.
Yeah.
Because that's being sinful. So again, you're judging somebody, you're sinning, you're doing bad things, you're being negative, you're pointing your finger at that person, and they're going to feel like they're not worthy enough, and they might do something. And so if that person offs themselves, you created a sin, and then you basically committed what? You created that person, and when you said that stuff to that individual, those negative things, that person felt low, and they did something.
Yeah.
Actuality, now you've got another sin on you, and the more that you acknowledge your sin, and say and clear it out, that negative thing or that sin, whatever you want to call it, you don't acknowledge it and you just let it go, like as if nothing happened. It's going to hold inside of you, and you're just going to pile up on them. And then, when you go to move on in a spiritual way, or even in the Christian way, that you're going to be in that personal hell. Everything that your worst fears and all those bad things are just going to keep haunting you until you work through them. So again, that's why we're here now, to work through all of those times. This is why this is a special time to be on this planet, to work through all of those sins, to work through all of that darkness. Sometimes we manifest these big D words, You know, sometimes we manifest these bad things to happen to us. Our mind is a very powerful thing, you know, because we have a pineal gland, and you know, we can use it for bad. When that electricity inside of us rises, and now what's that pineal gland? It's in your brain. It activates certain things within your brain to think and manifest certain things. All those fears, even fear you can manifest that fear through your pineal gland. You can manifest positive. And that's why we have to be mindful of what we're doing and what we're saying and our actions that we do and how we treat other individuals. Because again, we are a creator. We have the energy of God and source inside of us. So whatever we're projecting, we're going to give onto others. You know, even when we can walk into a room, if we have positive energy, we walk into a room, everybody's going to feel that positivity. We walk in a room all negative, people are going to feel that negativity. Again, we have to watch what we're projecting. And if you're not feeling in that spot, then we need to cut it off and say no. Like me, at one time, I was so irritated and angry at certain things. My empathic abilities, what did it do? It fired out. It blew like a nuclear bomb. It went off and it targeted everybody that annoyed and pissed me off. And I had to learn in the last 9 weeks that no, I can't allow that to enter my space. I can't allow that energy to be dispersed like that. I have to learn how to ground better. I was grounding, but I wasn't grounding better. So I have grounded better, and now I can maintain that energy. And I know when I feel that level up, because when I was younger, I was always told by a therapist that, you know, your attitude's like a nuclear bomb. And that stayed with me all of my life, that it's like a nuclear bomb. And that's where I've come to learn. I went into Christianity to try to learn how to deal with it, but it ain't, oh, you know, give it to God and do all this. I'm like, no. It's just something there that didn't make sense to me. So that's why I became into the spirituality part of it, because I knew that why do I have to, it's my body. I'm in control of this body. Why can't I control this body? Why do I have to ask him to control the body? He might have made it, but I'm residing in it, so shouldn't I be the one to control my body? Wow. I don't know what is going on today. I'm hot. Hello, Angel.
Good evening, Brim. What's up? What's up, everybody here? I've been listening
I
in.
don't know.
I've been listening in, and I love everything that you're saying. You're speaking with passion. You're speaking with truth. I'm on the expressway. Just to let you know. So it's like I couldn't chime in a little bit earlier because I'm trying to focus where I'm at. But you know what? I just came up here to. I hold the space, and when I'm able to talk, I will. I just want to say that I appreciate you being authentic with your words, being honest with your words, and everything that you're telling it is the truth. It resonates. I do understand everything that you're sharing with everybody here, and I vouch to tell you that I appreciate you speaking and using your voice to speak the truth. Because yes, if the creator created you, the creator is not bound to tell you what to do. It's up to you to find your own journey and your experiences. And at the end of the day, it's your responsibility. Whether that individual in the discussion that was telling you, if he knows what you're going to do, then what's the purpose? No, it's not about that purpose. The purpose is each one of us is supposed to experience. And I promised myself I'm not going to talk a lot. But, one thing I want to add too before it get lost is the scenario, where you can say something and somebody unalives themselves and then, oh, well, they did that. But you know what? At the end of the day, remember, we create ripples. There is a thing that says, we're associated and aid in assisting others. If you acknowledge somebody, you know they're going through stuff and you're not helping them. And if they
I
commit, let's say, that unalignment to themselves, because you were aware of it, you became an affiliation. You are aiding, assisting on their deeds and their sins because you acknowledged them. You created the awareness. You obtained it. And what did you do about it? You ignored it. You know, and that's very crucial. And a lot of individuals don't think about that. That once somebody comes in your path and they're down and out, and you don't attempt to do something, you're not their savior. They're their own saviors because they make the choices. But you become a ripple. You become an action, a possibility of them choosing a different choice. So yeah, I thank you for this opportunity. I will hold this box, and keep on doing what you're doing. And what's up, River Blues and Stargaze? Nice to meet you guys.
Good to see you.
And for so long, I wanted
Okay,
to
be
have this
sure.
conversation, but when I started this conversation with individuals, it was, oh my God, he's preaching. It was like, oh my God, he's preaching, or I don't want to hear a lecture. It's not about that, damn it. It's about me having a message that I can't put out, and I've been sitting on this message for almost 3 years, and it's never the right time. But for some reason, right now, at this moment, at this second, when I started it, I was like, you know what? This is the moment. This is the time. I'm just gonna just go and just say it, and that's where I think it was a lot of my frustration is because I had this message that I couldn't put out, and I know I wanted to put out. How people took it, I wanted to give the message out so they'll have an understanding. They can choose to take it and acknowledge it for whatever it's worth. But I wanted to give this message for so long, but I felt like I didn't have a voice because when I went to speak, somebody would come in and change the energy in the room, or somebody. And I know it's not just their fault. It's my fault because I let that energy affect me. But I know I wanted to say it, and I wanted this message to come out with a cool vibration, a cool frequency, and a cool energy. I didn't want to come in and start to have a conversation with somebody, and then somebody else come in, and the whole energy would shift, and then the message would be lost. I wanted to have the message where it can be heard. I don't care if there's 2 people in here at this point, or 1,000 people, because like you were saying, it's a ripple effect. And I've come to acknowledge that people are going to hear this. One person might tell 2 other people, and kind of like that. And that's where I've come to understand that if I have a message, I should use my voice and say to them, say my message, and don't let somebody hold me down and take that power from me, and that's what I was doing. But I knew, I had a feeling it was coming because it's not been me. I've been playing it in my mind for like the last 3 days. It's been bam, 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 bam. I'm like, okay, I think I'm getting it. I think this is the time. And yesterday I had this conversation with somebody, when you're going to know when the feeling's right. And right at this moment, I didn't think it was going to happen, but this moment is the time it happened. So there you go. And I don't think anybody's ever heard me speak like this.
I don't think
And
so. That's why I'm
do I
here.
feel
Go
and
for it. I say
I feel like I've
freedom.
been wanting to express this stuff, and it feels like freedom, man. It's like the fucking
Free your
I don't like to
mind,
swear
free your
much.
soul.
It feels like the fucking chains are off me, and I'm damn shackles, and I've got them shackles off me, and it's like, screw you. I'm not going to be shackled down anymore, and that's where. And usually I don't like to swear much lately. I've been trying to cut that out, but at that point, that word just decided to say, freedom change, man. I'm going to say it.
Your throat chakra's working.
and I have a lot of abilities, but I'm not. And that's the thing too. Everybody said, "Oh, I'm a God Spark," or I'm this, I'm that. You know what? Who cares? Be human. Why do you gotta have a freaking label on things? You don't have to label it. Be human. That's why you're here. We're here to live a human experience with our spirituality. We are a spiritual being in a human body. Live that experience. Be human. You don't have to label yourself. We all have abilities. It's just in how we advance in them abilities, what we're willing to allow ourselves to learn.
Yeah, and that's like the clothes that Stargaze was talking about. You walk into a church and they see you wearing an outfit, they think that outfit represents you. Just like whatever gifts individuals. That doesn't make you. Your action makes you. What's within you, your intentions and how you carry yourself is what makes you. Not your clothes and what gifts we have. It's what you do with it. We can have all the money in the world. Guess what? What are we doing with it? So it's all about our actions.
Yeah, I've spent all my life trying to fit in and thought, oh, if I don't have the right kind of clothes, nobody's going to like me. Or if I don't talk right, nobody's going to like me. And if I don't walk
What do
right,
you think, Suzanne?
I'm
I,
dozing
I
again. I'm sorry. I
Go
thought,
ahead, River.
I
Go
thought,
ahead, River,
I
please.
thought, what? I'm here in and out. I keep dozing. I started dreaming about Teresa showing us something.
what was I showing you?
I can't remember now, but I almost said, "Oh, I like your such and such," and then I thought, "Oh, yeah,
That's
well,
funny. I like that. That's cool.
So what do you think of what was said, River?
well, I missed the last part of what was said. I'm sorry because I fell asleep.
Oh, I'm
You
gonna
rocked
post this
me
on
to
Facebook.
sleep.
I mean, on
You what?
I'm gonna go on YouTube. I'm posting this one to YouTube.
Good. Well, I'll
So
watch it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully they won't get me in trouble for saying the F word.
No,
I
no.
don't know. I hear.
When you upload it, it'll ask, "Is this for kids?" And you say no. It's for 18 and over. And basically just with that, you'll be fine. But you know what, Bram? The reason I'm up here is because what you just mentioned about yourself. You found your voice, you found your passion, you found what resonates with you. And as somebody in the community, I might not be the most known individual, but I have a lot of friends and from different places throughout the TikTok community. And I came up here to acknowledge you that I see you, I know you, and I hear you. I hear your voice. I heard you many times in the past, and I just wanted to tell you, by me being present here, that I acknowledge you. I embrace you. I can say I love you, but it depending how you receive it. You know what I'm saying? It's not about me. It's your moment, and I have much gratitude to tell you that I appreciate you finding your voice. It's resonating. It makes sense. I see truth when I'm hearing it. I feel it, and that's why I'm up here. And it's 100% honesty. I'm speaking because you deserve a hug, and I'm sending you a virtual hug, my brother. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm just glad that I felt that the need to just say, you know what, this is the moment, this is it. I'm sick of holding that message in for so long. It's like, yeah. And it was like, you know what, I don't care. I don't care if people don't like me, they can bite me. I'm gonna say it, and it is what it is.
Yep. That's how I feel.
And this is what I believe. Believe it or not, resonate or not, this is how I am, and this is how I am in my universe, and this is where And I'm explaining my universe. If it resonates with you, cool. If it doesn't, oh well.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
sorry, but this is where I'm coming from.
yeah. And that's the definition. You are leading by example, or well, showing by example. And we talk about it in so many different ways, in so many different lives. Just be authentic, be genuine, just be you. And the individuals that resonate with you, your family and those that need to be around you will be around you. Those that are, let's say, not resonating is because they're not for you. You know what? We're not here to entertain or keep everybody in our circle or in our company. Those that want to peek and take a listen, you're welcome. We're not holding nobody. But at the end of the day, you being authentic is going to attract the people that need to be with you at that moment. They might come in and they might go, but you know what? At the end of the day, you're still remaining you. You're still genuine to you. You're still speaking your truth because now you acknowledge that your intuition, your uh, instincts, your heart is all you. Your reality was you. What was the boundaries? Because that's something I wanted to bring. Was Stargaze mentioned? You know how many parties I was invited to and I never went because my clothes. I said, you know what? I don't want to go. I don't got clothes. People are gonna look at me. And you know what? I just made it a burden on myself not to be able to be where I wanted to be because I didn't feel like I fitted in. But now that I realize that it was never about the clothes, it's the energy, like you say, Brim. It's what the light within you is what is the most important, and just keep shining.
Yep. I went into the closet and actually pitched a big fit and big hissy fit trying to get ready to go somewhere because I didn't like what I had to wear. Are you froze, Brim? I think he's froze.
There he is.
You were frozen.
Oh, and the reason why I wear black, and people will always condemn me. Oh my God, you're wearing black. You must be this. You must be that. No, actually, because when I'm wearing loud colors, when I see people wear loud colors, it makes me think you just want to be seen. Black is we like to wear means that we're at peace with ourselves. We look within ourselves because we're used to that color because we felt that and we're at peace with ourselves. We know what our inner selves is. We know we can maintain ourselves. So that is why I wear the color black a lot, because I feel at peace with that. A lot of people wear the different colors because of how they want to represent
I like it because it
themselves
makes
and
me
how
skinny.
they feel.
I look smaller.
And that's why colors matter. Same thing with voice. So, and how we voice ourselves, and how we speak, and how we act, and words have power in our actions. It all becomes a collective of yourself. When you become that collective of yourself, then you'll understand where and who and what you're meant to do.
It's funny you said that because my daughter always wore just plain black or solid colors, no colorful clothes. And my mom would say, how come she doesn't wear colorful clothes? And it's because my daughter never was the type that wanted to be seen. My mom was, though. My mom went out. She was partying all the time. She wore bright colors and she was something else. But my daughter was always real conservative and whatever you call it. So,
Bright colors make me happy. People,
yeah.
when I first got my Jeep, people would be going, "Man, you like green?" And I was like, "Yeah." Boy, they
Yes.
can see you coming, and it's like, that's kind of the idea. There's
Right.
enough silver cars on the road that when it clouds up and
Uh-huh.
starts storming, you can't even see them on the road.
Well,
So,
guess what
yeah,
color my daughter's vehicle is that she just got?
what color?
Black.
Oh, well,
Guess what color? Guess what color my mom got one time? She bought a brand new Mustang. It was
red.
no, like blue, like light blue, and you could see her. They were surprising me for my 50th birthday, and my husband got me a limo, and my mom came down, and she didn't want to leave her car. My daughter lived not here then, and she didn't want to leave her car there at my mom, and my mom didn't want to leave her car at my daughter's house, so she drove it behind the limo and almost messed up the whole surprise because I saw the blue car coming. It was funny. But anyway, that's what I'm saying. She liked the bright colors, even her car.
I like red sometimes. I like blue. I like gold.
Well, I like to wear black, but I mean, I wear colors too, but it doesn't really matter to me one way or the other, you know. I'm not trying to impress anybody anymore, so.
I think it's pretty weird
You
for
see,
somebody to judge somebody's spiritual. Well, first of all, they shouldn't be judging any of us anyway, but to judge your spirituality based on what color you wear is kind of silly.
Right? It is.
yeah, when I went to church, they were like, "You can't wear black. We can't wear that. That's black."
You know how you always wore black to a funeral? You know, everybody, that's all pretty much changed over the years. People aren't quite like that anymore. But, I mean, you can't go wrong with a black
I
dress.
think the colors of our clothes express our emotions.
Yeah, I think so too. I like purple. That's my favorite color, but I don't really have a lot of shirts that are purple. I bought a purple February t-shirt one time, but basically that's it.
Did you guys ever hear my new song?
Mm-mm.
Oh, I wrote a song. I don't know why that just came into my mind.
Oh.
I have no idea.
How long ago?
Yeah, I wrote I think River heard it. About 2 weeks ago.
Then no, I haven't for sure.
I don't think I played it on live either. It is kind of a long song. Where did I wrote a lot of them, but where is it? No. Oh, Monk heard it. I did have it on TikTok.
I don't know how I missed it.
Oh, here it is. I don't know why I heard this, play the song.
We look into our hearts, we search inside our souls. Sometimes what we find doesn't make us whole. We wander through the questions, who we're meant to be, searching every corner for a truth we cannot see. But there's a quiet whisper, simple and clear. The life I was living was never meant for me here. We stumble through the dark just trying to get it right. And when it gets too heavy, we try to take the lead. But we rise in love and light. Through the shadow, through the night. What we thought was out of sight was within us all this time. We rise and finally see we are who we're meant to be. In the truth, we're set free. Not for ego, not for pride, but for wisdom deep inside, balancing the dark and light. We become the truth alive. We rise to higher ground, a love that knows no bounds. New vibration, new sound, and the world is being found. We rise, we don't look back. No more living in the past. We create, we unlock a better future for all mankind. In harmony, in melody, we stand as one. Underneath the same eternal sun, with love and light, we lead the way and build a new earth, starting today.
So far that would make
That was
2, 4,
pretty.
6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17 songs.
That was really nice. I liked it. You did good.
And like my videos and like my music, there's always a message in there. This one was over the last 9 weeks. It took me 9 weeks to write it because it was the stuff I was going through in that past 9 weeks. 10 weeks now, actually. But yeah. And that was, I took the inspiration and the learning that I've been learning over the last 10 weeks and I put it into that, and that's the words that came out.
It was the living through hell of moving into River's son's bedroom.
Well, you know, I'm not on all the lives, so I never noticed anything. So I didn't really know what was going on.
I have a lot of wonderful songs I like that I wrote. I can't believe I wrote that many. I'm astonished. I thought I was only going to have that one, but when somebody came in alive, it gave me the inspiration to do that, and I made 17 so far.
That's awesome. I know Oracle Nomad, he writes a lot of songs, and he doesn't sing them either. I think they're all sung by AI.
I wrote mine, but
thought he
mine are
did.
AI.
I thought he did sing all of his.
Not to
He said
my
he did.
knowledge. I don't know.
He said he sang his, but he played with the voice.
Because it doesn't match his voice to me, but people sing different than they talk, so I thought they said that it was not him. I don't know.
I've heard
That
him
one
sing
voice-
along and it sounded like him, but I don't know.
That one song that I play, that I love, that one sounds like me a lot.
Mm-hmm. Well, my
Love
friend
Came Home.
Kickin' Saturday, he sings, but he lets AI sing his songs too. He writes a lot of music. So
I'm just sharing this out, and I have them on YouTube too, actually.
mm-hmm.
Just sharing as much as I can, whether it's
I don't
music,
guess I've
whether it's
looked at-
messages, whether it's videos.
I don't guess I've been to your YouTube channel. I'm so behind on watching and reading, and I've got more than
I don't go
I have
on
time
YouTube.
for.
Do you want to hear another one?
if you want to
Sure.
play it.
I love this one, and I love the song. Sitting on a tree and feel a gentle breeze blowing softly, blowing sweet across my face. I turn inside a little more and hear the whisper at my core, tender voice that soothes my soul, a saving grace that breathes to rest in me like candles in the air. A voice upon the wind calling me to somewhere deep within. I hear my voice inside my soul. It sparks a fire in my heart and sets me all aglow. It opens channels I once closed. A love I lost begins to grow. A raging wild inferno flowing back into my bones. I asked for love, and love came home. A soul stepped gently close to me and showed me what I couldn't see, that love is more than intimate, it's universe-wide, unconditional, divine, a perfect pattern by design, creation's quiet masterpiece inside my mind. It lifted up my eyes, it taught my heart to shine, it brought me back to life, one breath at a time. And oh, I hear the voice inside my soul, it sparks a fire in my heart, it sets me all aglow. It opens channels I once closed. A love I lost begins to grow. A raging wild inferno flowing back into my noise. I asked for love, and love came home. There you go.
Well, thank you for that. That was great.
That's Mike's song, right?
Yeah.
Did you write that for him or Yaya? Seemed like one or the other.
Well, when I was thinking of that song, I was thinking of what was going on with me, but I also had Mike on my mind. I wrote Mirror Mirror because I thought of Honey, and I wrote Celestial Wind because I was thinking of Yaya.
Where's mine? I'm jealous. Is that a sin?
Well, no.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
But yeah, it's all about how we have the balance within ourselves, and we can fear all these things, or we can say the world's doing it, and we can accept it into our lives and let it bother us and hold us down, or we can just not let it bother us and move on from it and just adapt to the situation. And everybody says, well, you shouldn't be prepared for this, you shouldn't be prepared for that. That's not my reality. It might not be in your reality, but we also should prepare, not fear, but prepare, and just in case. You always want to be ready, because even Jesus said, be ready, be ready, be ready.
Because we don't know the time.
And we don't know what's going to happen to us.
Right? We don't know when we're going to ascend.
And we have to acknowledge it, but we don't have to live in it. we can say, hey, that's going to happen. Well, this is what we can do to avoid that. And we can change and alter it by how we manifest our things, and we look within ourselves and we feel that connection with Gaia. As we are Earth, she is Earth too. And a lot of times people don't understand that the reason why we connect with Gaia is because we're part of her, and not just in a mental sense, but in a physical sense, that we were made from Gaia. Our bones, our minerals. We have a rare piece of gold within our pineal gland. People don't even realize they have. That fires up the electrons around our bodies. That's why we have static electricity within us. That travels across the water. When do you feel that tingling inside? You know what that really is? That's the excitement, and joy and happiness that we feel. It fires up your pineal gland, and that's where you start to feel tingly and happy. And when we feel, down and out, and we don't feel that, is because the energy is decreasing. That electricity that goes through our body slows down, and we start to feel sad and hopeless, and because we're living in that fear. That's why we should never live in that fear, but live in joy.
I've got zapped so many times from static walking up to my car door, touching, and it just zaps me. Like, I hate that. Ah. When I was younger, though, it happened more. Like, I think it was the blankets back in the old days. It seemed like the blankets had a lot of static electricity huh?
Like I was saying a long time ago, when I was living in Virginia, we had a water heater above the tub, and I was always in the tub, either smoking in the bathroom or laying in the tub, and that's where a lot of my electricity went. And I always blew out the damn water heater, and they were so mad about that. They're like, within 6 months they had to replace the water heater 3 times, and they don't understand why it short circuited. And I was going to say, well, you wouldn't believe me if I told you.
Right. That's funny. I used to cover my head up with the blankets when I was little to watch the static electricity go through
Who invited to come up?
them.
Because it came up, and I was going to accept it, but I don't know where the person went.
Huh. I was looking.
Oh, but yeah, our body is. We can be the most electrifying person on the planet, or we could be that, and when that electricity is firing through us, that means that we're at the point where our light is the brightest. You have to take the cues from your body. You're in control of your body, so you're the one who knows your body the most. And if you want to, what's the best way to keep them spirits and that spirit and that electricity flowing through you? Keep yourself positive. Do something you like. Bring out your inner child. Acknowledge all these good things. And a lot of times people want to focus on the bad things, but they don't ever want to realize the good things. I could sit here and do one bad thing and do 100 good things, but somebody's always going to remember those bad things, because that's human philosophy and that's how we think. And we have to change that everybody can change, and everybody is different. And we don't want to look at them in that old reflection. And sometimes we keep on looking at them with that old reflection of who they were, not who they are now.
Yeah. That's true. Bye, Monk. I'm going to have
Bye,
to go
monks.
too. I need to go too. Since she said that, I was like, I need to go too, because I got to get up in the morning. So I'm going to say goodnight. I hate to leave y'all.
Oh, good night. It was a joy having
night,
you both
Teresa.
here.
I
If I
hope
wake
y'all
up,
have a
if I wake up early enough tomorrow, I'll see you at Butterfly Sanctuary.
Yeah, because Jules is going to be with Opal tomorrow. She
Doing the live.
She came on her train to to Opal's, you know, in her little train venture.
Oh, that's right.
They're going to
Yay.
do a live together tomorrow. Yeah, she
Oh,
came to Houston and she called me last Friday, but I was leaving to go out of town with my daughter to my aunt,
uh,
and she only had 45 minutes. It would have took me 30 minutes to get down there, but I don't drive downtown, so I'd have to have someone take me. I just don't like driving in a big city like that. My anxiety gets the best of me. I barely
which
go anywhere anymore.
which city would she go to?
She was in Houston. I live 19 miles
Oh
from her.
yeah, Houston is scary AF,
She
man.
wanted me to meet her there for 45 minutes. That just wasn't worth it. But I
Man,
couldn't anyway. So,
downtown Houston,
yeah,
gosh, it about did me in.
right. If it
We,
was a
Emma,
small town train station or something, it would be different. But
yeah,
I just,
Houston's a whole nother story, especially I had to go to the Galleria area and
oh God.
I told Emily, it's like when I find a place to park, I'm gonna take it and we'll just have to walk however far we have to walk because this is freaking me
It's
out.
it's not that bad once you get down in Houston, but I don't like driving on the highway, period. I'll drive on the highway to go to my son's in Tyler, you know, like towards north I'll go. Or, you know, I'll drive a lot of other places, but I just don't like that traffic.
Houston was very scary to me. I mean, it was like, oh my Lord. I
I
swear,
avoided
I
it.
cussed more that day than probably,
I
you
know.
know, that the freeway moves so fast
Yeah.
and the exits aren't well marked. And if you miss your exit and,
Yep.
and you get on one of I mean, there's clover leaf on top of clover leaf on top of clover leaf. And it's like, dude, I can't handle this.
Yeah, I would, you know, like used to, we didn't even have GPSs. You just had to look
Yeah.
for the actual sign. But I just, you know, when I started working for the post office, I had to go down there for training and, you know, different stuff. And I dreaded it every time. I dreaded it. I would try anything to get out of it, but I'd have to go and I'd drive. But I would be just a nervous wreck. And I had to go across the 610 bridge to go to the credit union one time. And I swear when I started up it, I thought the steering wheel was like, it felt like the, the steering wheel was going to slip out of my hands and the car was going to go backwards. I just have this tremendous fear of heights for some reason.
I
I'm
have a
so scared.
I have a tremendous fear of Texas drivers. I can identify them up here. I'll be on the highway and somebody will come barreling up behind me, and I go, "How much you want to bet it's Texas?" And as soon as they pass, there's a Texas plate, and
Probably
it's
my
like,
son. It was probably
"Oh
my
my
son. That's
gosh!"
how my brother
They,
used to drive like that too. He'd ride on people's asses all the
oh
time.
man. Well, they change lanes just before they hit you, and it's like. I'm glad you're in I mean, it wouldn't matter what I was driving, regardless with as fast as they were going, but
My son was talking to me on the phone yesterday and he was like, "Oh shoot." And then I said, "What?" And he said he almost didn't see a guy in the road with some stuff in the middle of the road. And I'm like, "What do you mean?" He said it was a worker working in the middle of the road with like some stuff, and it wasn't like a big crew, like a road crew, but he said he almost didn't see him. I'm like, "Oh Lord," because he was paying attention to his um, something. I don't know what he said now, but anyway, I was like, "Well, make sure you watch the road. That's kind of scary." But anyway, I'm gonna tell y'all good night, and y'all have a great night.
sweet dreams.
Good
Good
night.
to see you.
Sweet dreams to
Hopefully, I'll
y'all.
see you in the morning.
Yes, ma'am. All right. See y'all later. Bye bye.
Good night.
Bye bye.
Good night.
That's why I like visiting Chicago is you can get off the airplane, get on a train, use your GPS, and it tells you what train to take, where to get off, what bus to get on, where to get back on a train. You don't have to rent a car. You can just anywhere I've wanted to go, I've been able to get to using their rapid transit. And I have found the people there to be incredibly friendly, and everybody rides public transportation, unlike here, you know, and you don't, to
Hel-
catch a bus, you don't have to go that far.
Hello, Roger. Nice to
Hey,
see you
Roger,
again.
you don't want to come up?
I seen your video. That was an interesting video, by the way, sir.
I was hoping he'd come up and tell us his latest adventures with the orbs.
Yeah. I pretty much think I know what that thing is that I seen. It was a time thread, and we could see our ancestors through it.
Where?
I sent it to you, I think.
Hi, Tanya. How you doing?
I wanted to see what he thought of it. He was in here. See if I can pull it up, actually. This is what it looked like.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I see a lot lately. And the only thing that I could think of is it's a time thread, and our ancestors can see us through it. On higher dimensional beings. That's them looking at us. That's what I've gotten from it.
Interesting. You see it all lit up like that?
Yeah, I see it like that. But sometimes the middle's different. The middle is sometimes it's gold, sometimes it's blue. And I see them when I'm on a phone conversation sometimes with certain people or certain individuals. I see that. Like when I'm talking to Honey, I see it like that, but there's a silver in the middle. It's about that size in the sky. Sometimes it's about 4 feet long, huh?
Have you seen ancestors in it?
I can feel things, but I can't see anything. Only one time I seen something else on the other side of it, and it was because I was sitting on the back porch talking to Yaya one night, or one day, when I was here actually, and I seen it appear where that portal was that we had constructed, and I was talking to her, and I seen it. It just appeared out of nowhere, and I'm like, what the hell? I looked forward, and I could see a being looking through it. So it was a light being, and I was like, interesting. And then ever since then, I've been trying to figure it out. But
did you try to talk to it?
I was in a little conversation with Yaya, and I kept looking at it.
Oh, sorry.
And I was trying to use my mind to talk to it, but it just looked at me and gave me a calmness. That's what I felt. Calmness. I don't know if anybody else has seen them, but
Israel,
I thought maybe
something like that.
No. To me it looks like a crack through a veil. Like the possibilities of another side potential. But no, I never seen anything like that.
That's what I was thinking at first. I thought it was a crack or a rip, but something came to me where it's kind of the same thing where it's a rip in the veil, but it's like it's a thread. I called it a time thread, and it's a rip through the veil where the ancestors and the higher selves are looking at themselves, looking at us, kind of like a portal.
You know, to
And
be
there's
honest,
orbs.
the closest thing I seen to something like that was the solar eclipse, like staring at the solar eclipse. That's it looks like something like that.
It reminds me of an eye.
Yeah. He saw a little, show that picture of the little light beam that was in my backyard.
Okay, hold on.
See the little, it looks like a woman fairy kind of thing to me. The white little lady down at the bottom looks like she has wings. What it looks like to me. But look at the circles of colors and stuff above her head. That was in the grass. How tall would you say she was, Graham?
It was maybe the whole thing was maybe about a foot long. When I walked over, it was about a foot, but I didn't want to get too close because I didn't know what the hell was going on.
So
I
do you think she was then about 4 inches?
Yeah, she looked very tiny because if I zoom in, because I zoomed in on a picture, I don't know whether
She's
to get
still,
close or not. But if you look in, it looks like a woman with wings.
that's what it looks like to me too.
And if you look around, it looks like there's beings like a dragon or something circling around, like a bluish reddish dragon circling around.
Oh, you know what? I see the face now. I never noticed that before. I just saw the rings of color, but I mean the patterns in the grass doesn't look like grass either. I like how it has those rings around it though. It's like having a rainbow.
I don't
It
know if
is a
anybody else seen
rainbow.
that, but it looks to me like a blue and pink dragon circling a being, and that's what I got from it.
Well, see, like right above her head, it looks like a dragon head, and the little black spots are eyes. That's what it looks like to me.
Yeah. I can see the mouth. And if you look around, it shows the whole mouth right there. And then the white spot above is the eye. You see how it's got that oval right there? It looks like the eyeball. I see the mouth. I see the whole face right there. I don't know if anybody else sees it, but that's what I'm seeing. But that the being was like, whoa, because it looked like she was moving within the light. I was going to try to record it, but I hit camera instead, and that's what I got.
Well, I love that picture.
It's definitely beautiful. To me, what I see is like you said, it's a princess. It's like a princess, a fake princess with a crown that is like all the rainbow. It's a rainbow crown. It's all the colors of the rainbow. Almost like a magic mushroom. But it's a fae, and it's showing all the different chakra colors, and maybe it's a representation of the everything. Because I see from the top, the purple, the indigo, to the blue, to the green, to the orange, to the red, to violet, to the bottom, until you see the main color of the princess, or the queen fae.
I was shocked because I guess I'll tell that story of how that happened. She asked me to go out and touch the trees one day. She goes, "Go out and meet the trees." So I went to the trees, and I heard from the trees they didn't like each other. I'm like, "Oh, okay. What the
You
hell?"
didn't tell me that.
Yeah, I did.
You told me they didn't like each other?
Yeah, they didn't like
I
each
don't
other for some
remember.
reason.
Huh.
And then I talked to them, and I said, you should all, work together. And then they went, okay. And I go, well, we can work together. We can do something really magical. And this was when I I was in the front at the time, and I went back to the back, and I'm like, okay, they want to do something back here because I felt it was back here. So I touched a big tree, and I felt that he wanted something. And they said, well, we want something. And I said, well, what do you want? They wanted an amethyst. And I'm like, so I went to all the trees. I go, what do you three want? And they've all said amethyst. And I'm like, well, okay, what for? And they go, you'll see. So then, I went, and after about a week or two, I decided to put these big amethyst chunks that I had out there. And as soon as I placed the last one in the tree and I went to the middle of the triangle, I touched the ground. I got a huge flash in my head of all three of them activating, and energy just came to the middle of where I was sitting. And I'm like, I want to open up a portal here for every positive being out here. Anything negative, do not allow in this space. And then next thing I know, I was like, holy crap, I could feel the energy. It was like, whoa, 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 whoa. It was like, I'm like, holy crap. So I went in and I told you, and then about a week later, that showed up. And I'm like, what? And I was sitting in the house at the time, and I heard a voice go outside. So I went outside, I'm looking around, and I looked towards the ground, and it was right there. So I took the picture, and I zoomed in as far as I could after I took the picture. And right after I took the picture, it disappeared. So I'm like, what the hell? And it was exactly where I was kneeling down and saying, I want to open up a portal here. And that's where it was. And it's right in the backyard, right at that one spot.
I'm glad you were able to get a
So
picture.
I seen it, when you go outside and you see something flicker on the ground, I'm like, is that a meteor or something? So I'm walking close. I didn't know if it was a meteor. I was like, is that going to be radiation or something? I don't know. So I'm like, I was leery, so I took out the camera and I zoomed in and I took that picture. And then I zoomed in more and seen that, and I'm like, and then after I looked at the camera and looked back up, it was gone. But that's what showed up in the backyard.
She's beautiful.
I agree, and Brim, I definitely believe it's whatever resonates with you, whatever you felt, however you understood it, it lets you tap into, let's say, unseen world. In other words, it became a portal. And all those colors. Like I said, I see all the colors of the spectrum. And it's shining. It's shining right through. Where like one color from the prism. If everything and all that exists is a hologram, that was a ripple through the hologram, and you were able to tap in to see it. So you're witnessing a connection with mystical realms, and is deep, but I definitely believe it's whatever resonated when you witness it. As the light is shining, it could also be like, let's say a flashlight pointing at you. So that light and all those colors is allowing you to tap into, let's say, the chakras, so you got all the colors and potentials of all the chakras. So you're connecting with different balances within yourself. Let's say, all that is enlightenment, it's balance, it's magical, whatever resonated with you. it's true. In other words, you have to embrace whatever power or whatever you feel was given to you in understanding this moment.
When I seen that, what I felt was Fey. It felt so Fey and ancient. It was like I unlocked something because when I felt it, I was like, whoa. It made me stumble back with the camera for a minute because I was like, whoa. I could feel the Fey energy from it. It was definitely Fey.
Well,
It was so Fey.
we kind of knew that they are in my yard, right?
Right. But I've never seen a Fey like that. That's the first time I've seen a Fey like that. That
And
kind of
either
was
I
different
would,
for me.
if it was bigger, I would have thought it was an angel. Except, well, that's kind of how I saw Azrael.
It
Is
almost was
white
like
like
it was
that.
teleporting in.
And that's the same way I see it. Like, you both are saying, it's a fade, but I definitely believe those colors got, there's a symbol within all that, and the only closest thing I could resonate with this to make it, make sense or logic is Queen Toad, from Mario Brothers, the Queen, and then the Queen, and she's
Yeah.
protected by the mushrooms, the animated. But, in this aspects, those colors, all the representation are frequencies, they're vibrations. In other words, it's light language, so this picture in itself is representing light language, and that's what I meant by, if you could decipher and resonate with what you felt, then don't second guess what you're feeling. I definitely believe there's a hidden message in it, but it's not meant for like me or somebody else. It's meant for the one that actually seen it to resonate with it because the experience was unique.
From what and here's another thing I keep getting in the back of my mind, that it was a dragon that was opening up the portal for the Fae. That's what I get. I think it was a dragon. It was a dragon because I keep getting that. This dragon opened the portal for this Fae, and this Fae is not no ordinary Fae. This Fae is ancient Fae because the energy that was coming from that felt very old and very beautiful, but old. You know what I mean?
And I could definitely see it because, as you were pointing out, like when you look at that indigo, bluish, and purplish top, there is like an eyeball there. And then when you look at that empty box that's above me, it looks like a mouth, like a nostril, like a nostril. And it looks like it's wrapped around the light. It's going from
Yes.
counterclockwise. And the top of it, the purplish is the top of it. And the reddish purple, the reddish what is that, like an orange red color, is like the belly of it, and it's wrapped around that light. Like
Yeah.
you said, it's opening up the portal. I see it.
That's exactly what I got from that. It was a blue dragon. And you can actually, the purple, if you look closer to the top, you can see the purple looks like spikes. Like the spikes on the
Yes.
back.
Yes, like spikes or hair or ears or something up there. Yes, I see it. I completely see it. Yes.
That's
Yeah,
why
I
I'm like,
didn't. I
it,
see that too now.
it looks like a blue. It looks like a bluish fey dragon that came through and teleported this noble fey, and that's the only thing I could think about. Noble. I get a noble fey, and if you zoom in close enough, and you see the head of the fey, you can see she has wings, and then you can see closer. You can see that it looks like she's wearing something on her head. That's where I'm seeing a noble fey. And she's very
Def-
old. I can feel it.
I could definitely resonate with it. And then the reason, that belly of the dragon is lighter colors because the light reflection of the Fae itself, the high vibration.
Yeah. And like you said, there is the 7 chakras are in it. You got purple, you've got blue, you've got a different kind of blue, you've got green in there. I see green. You see gold, orange, and red. Yeah, they're all in there. All 7 of them are in there.
Yeah, green. There's gold. There's orange. You know, it's unbelievable. That is definitely very epic. You know, a very epic picture that you have there.
I was epic seeing it. I was almost like, what? There ain't no meteor.
I wish I'd been out there and saw it too, but I didn't. Okay. Welcome in.
Hey, how are you?
All
Doing
right.
well. How are you doing?
Good.
Hello,
I'm listening to you.
Aradia.
Yes, it's the radio. How you doing?
Doing great. We were just talking about one of the images that appeared in the yard.
Oh yeah. Well, do you want to see? You want to see an image that I have?
Sure.
Okay. All right. Here's this one.
So
That's
tell
my
us
dad, and that's me as a child that he's showing me in a portal. My past life with him.
your
Looks like
cat was
Jesus.
showing. Did you say your cat was showing you that?
No, my dad in a portal.
Oh,
That's in a
oh
water
wow.
portal.
Yeah, my first thought was
Well,
Yeshua.
It looks like Jesus to me. That's what I'm getting right now. Jesus.
You feel like he's Jesus? Well, it's supposed to be Lucifer. That's my
I'm not feeling it.
no.
What do you say?
Mm-mm.
What were you starting to say, Azrael?
I see it. You know, I see it. But my question is, so you're on the left side of it, Aradia?
Yeah,
You're on the left side, and you're wearing a skirt, or no?
I'm wearing. You see my hair up?
Yes.
My hair. I have like a skirt, or I have like a dress on, or something. I have something on,
Yes, I see it. I see it.
and I'm
When you
standing
seen it, what
clearly
did you
with him.
feel?
So he's saying it looks like Jesus, but it's supposed to be my dad.
Where did you see this?
This is in a portal, water portal. I have more pictures I'm going to show you.
You know,
This is
the distinct thing is the chin. You know, that chin that is there. You know, you can see the chin, and it looks like he's wearing something that's underneath his shoulders. You know, like you can see the shoulders, but there's like I see the distinct chin. There's a chin under. You know, facing to the right. I mean, to the left.
It's like a goatee to me.
yeah, like a long beard or something.
Well, you know, well, that's what I'm, you know, leaning toward. But I wanted those to whoever
Yeah.
receives it. Yeah. So so there's a goatee. There's a distinct in the chin, and it also, if you look in the back of the hair, you know, it's a little bit long, not too long, just a long that I can see like those guys in Roman time, you know, and I can see it. I can see the face. You can see the eyeballs. You can see a lot of stuff. You know, you know.
This is
He's wearing a
picture.
cloak.
This is the picture I was talking about, and there's the other pictures I'm going to show you that I was talking about that I wanted to show you, right? So
See
here's
those?
one of them.
Can
So
before you change pictures, are you you that is standing facing him? See the white lines coming off of that?
that's the water.
Okay, but that's your face there, like your full head shorter. Okay,
Yep. That's wild though, huh?
yeah,
Okay.
It looks like he's wearing a cloak too, like Jesus would
Yeah,
wear.
he is. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna shock you with some more.
Yeah, see, Brim, what you said about the cloak, that's what I meant. It's a cloak, and it's hanging under, just under the shoulder. It wraps around the
Yeah.
back, but it's hanging around the shoulder.
Okay. I'm gonna show you this one first. No, I'm gonna find the other ones. Then because I have a lot of paranormal pictures with Dad. I have a lot of them. I told you my magic's very strong. Remember, all natural. So this is the naturalist one that I'm gonna freak you guys out with. Just have to find it. It is so far.
I've seen all kind of things.
Hey, David, try to request and see if you're able to be accepted with us here in the panel if you want to chime in.
Oh my gosh, I can't find it. Why can't I find it? Okay, I got it. Ready? Damn. You see the numbers and the letters? Hello?
2 months.
Yep. You see how it says 92GP in the smoke? Right there, I just used my vape and I used the water and popped up 92GP with the picture. When I snapped the picture. Isn't that wild?
I don't know.
You don't see it?
At the top of the picture,
On the left, it says 92GP.
point with your finger where you see it.
92GP. I can't.
Oh,
It doesn't show. It's on the left. It's in
okay.
smoke.
Well, I don't. Yeah, I do, but it looks kind of like. Yeah, I see it.
So when I saw that and I seen it clear as day, I was just like, this happened in 2022, right? And when I snapped this picture, and I said 92GP, 92 months, something's gonna happen. 92 months, and then out of nowhere I said 92 months, God's place, and
I see a key. I see a key right above the TikTok symbol.
I don't see it.
It's within that. It looks like a mushroom right above the TikTok symbol.
Yeah, I'm looking right at it.
If you go right above it, it looks like a heart-shaped key.
I see it looking more like GP, like the letter P.
Wouldn't GPs represent like the British pound, like the money system?
God's place.
God's place.
Yep. This universe. You know? I don't know. I thought that was pretty wild, though. Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then the next.
I did see a key.
You want more? Should I go on?
Sure.
I have pretty wild pictures, guys. I'm telling you. Okay. All right. see an angel?
Oh, I see a lot in this one. It's Egyptian.
I feel like it's an angel. You say Egyptian?
I'm seeing Egyptian. That one, you got a pyramid. You've got that big thing with it looks like a hook on its head. That looks like an Egyptian helmet, like Ra. And beside it, it looks like another goddess, kind of like Isis. And then the other one, I can't really make that one out, but it looks like a being there too. Looks like there's three beings pointing at a pyramid.
I didn't think of it like that. Now I kind of see what you're seeing. I always saw it as.
And
I've had this.
the biggest one looks like Ra.
Wow.
Was it Ra? Whoever had that big hook thing, that big helmet like that, it looks like him. But that's what I'm looking at. I'm seeing three different beings in a pyramid.
That's crazy. Okay, I'm gonna show you this other one. You're gonna freak out with this one. Oh. This
What
one.
did everybody else think?
Huh?
What did everybody else think of that one?
I moved too fast, huh? Okay. Okay. You know who that
Whoa.
is?
Whoa, that's...
That looks like a
Oh my
scary
God.
Easter bunny to me.
Uh-uh. Oh, crap. That looks like the angel of death.
It is. It's Lysantha birthday.
Holy crap. That's the angel
You're
of death.
absolutely right. I work with her.
Oh. It looks like the angel of death.
She's beautiful.
And then I could see, I don't know why I'm getting this one too. I'm getting the angel of death, but I'm also seeing, what the hell is her name? Hecate.
Hecate too? Oh, I never got that. But if you see Hecate, I'm not gonna, you know, tell you it's not.
But it does look like it looks like both of them, a mixture of both. I can see the angel of death and I can see Hecate.
Well, it would be both. I mean, because oh, I see Hecate above the angel of death. I know what you're talking about now. She's coming out on the right side of her.
That is, wow, I don't even know.
And
what
y'all
to
are
say to that
saying
one.
the angel of death. Are y'all talking about Archangel Azrael?
No. Angel of death is Lysantha birthday.
Is what?
Lysantha birthday.
Don't do that on camera, please. Thank you.
Sorry.
That look, whoa. That does look like, it looks like the angel of death, and like I say, it looks like Hecate, but I'm getting the angel of death more.
Yeah, it is more the angel of death to me. That's what I got right away. Okay, now I have one last picture to show.
What did you think of it, Azrael?
I've seen it. I've seen exactly what you seen. But I've seen something
I
on
was getting
the.
the angel of death or Hecate.
I seen like a little person like bowing or something on the left side of it. You know, like it showed like the representation of a human size compared to it.
Oh, that's interesting.
So this picture
Where
is
would,
my two best friends of my premonition that I had and they were part of that premonition, and I didn't know that my premonition was going to come true, but they passed away with the premonition that I had, and it's still a hard grief of me that I go through because, like, this premonition, like, killed my friends, you know? And I had nothing to do with it. It was just premonition, and I saw everything, you know? I still feel guilty. Anyways, but they're not mad at me. They understand. That's Robert, and then there's Cologne, and then here is, I don't know, some form of a demon, because if you see the horns right there, something, something, something not human right there.
I don't see demon.
I see the eyes on top. There's some eyes above us, and then it looks like the Woogie Boogie Man from Nightmare Before Christmas, looking like it. You know, I don't know if you can see it.
I see a white wolf.
I see so many people in there.
I see a wolf. I don't know why. I see a white wolf that's, and then I'm seeing fire beings, but I'm seeing a white wolf. But there is something above, Huh?
This eyes reflection. Those lights are they human beings?
They're all human beings. I think one's not human though. One's half human. Look at the horns. He has horns on top of his head.
What's that?
It's a life, not my life. A life.
I don't see demon. I don't know what.
Maybe it's human. What? It's okay, baby. You're fine.
I see a being. Oh, okay. Now I see.
Can you put my shirt on?
You see the white part by the flames?
Yeah.
It looks like a wolf head. If you're looking at it from the right side, it looks like a wolf head, and it looks like there's a ritual. That's what I'm getting from the fire. It looks like a ritual, but then up atop, above the white, it looks like something with a huge with a horn, and it was like orange.
Yeah. And then if you see on the bottom, I'm actually looking at Jesus' face right at me. On the bottom, next to the guy with the mustache. There's his nose, his eyes, and his crown. Right there. I'm not playing. I see it clear as day.
What do you see, River?
Oh, sorry, I'm cooking. I don't see what y'all are seeing. To me, it looks like a being on the left. It looks like a head on top with a narrow chin, mouth, big eyes, with their arms crossed in front of them. That's what I see.
The orange to me looks like some kind of being with something on its head. And just below that, I see a wolf with the side of his face. And the fire looks like a ritual. That's what I'm getting.
And that was just a picture taken. A straight picture taken.
Well, that's what I see. There is something above, though, and that's a little weird. I don't know what that is.
I never saw the face of Jesus until now. That just popped out. but he's there. He's like the whitest one. His face is like pure white. He almost looks like the same picture. Oops, sorry. Okay, you guys, I have to go.
Okay. Have a good day.
Okay. Good night,
All right.
Israel.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you for coming up.
Okay, bye.
Thank you for sharing.
You too.
And thank you for sharing. Wow. Y'all want to call it a night?
You're live, dude. Whatever you
Yeah,
want to do.
yeah, it's your life, Brim.
Yeah, I'm feeling a little, after seeing that one image, it just got me a little like I need to ground or something.
I'm glad you came and joined us tonight, Azriel.
Yes, thank
Nope,
you.
no problem. Like I said earlier,
Thank you for all those that showed up too.
came by to
Did you?
show support and acknowledge.
Yay. Well, we're both glad you did.
And I'm glad for all those that came in. It was great having you here. The next one will probably be Tuesday at 8 o'clock Central Standard Time, and who knows, I might have another massive message. If you want to look at my previous messages, please visit and the music that I have. You can visit my bio. If you visit my bio, you'll see a YouTube link. You click that and you'll see my past videos. You'll see the music. This video will be up probably tomorrow morning because, it's going to take forever to download it because it's TikTok. But I'm going to post this. So if you want to review it, just go over there and click it and you'll see it.
I'm
Thank
sorry
you
I
for
missed
coming
the
and have a
first 30 minutes. I was
Oh,
watching
that's fine.
Falling Skies.
Oh, that's no
I,
problem. I was watching Chinese dramas before I got watched it here.
so did you like them?
The Chinese drama was interesting.
Yeah. All right. I love you guys.
See you later.
All
Blessed
right.
be.
Yeah. Good night, everybody. I love y'all.
Good night.
Good night.